Tonight, we will gently release the weight of the day. We will step away from worries, from tomorrow's plans, and into the soft embrace of this peaceful moment. Together we will explore soothing Zen parables, simple stories that carry deep wisdom. Not teachings to memorize, but quiet reminders that it is safe to let go. As you listen, allow your thoughts to settle like calm water. Let each breath loosen the mind's tight hold and uncover the stillness that has always lived within you. These ancient tales speak directly to the heart, a heart that knows how to rest, how to surrender, and how to drift into deep, healing sleep. Close your eyes. Let the bed hold you without asking for anything in return. Feel the shape of your body settle into the quiet, shoulders softening, hands uncurling, jaw unhooking from the day. Imagine a small room washed in late evening light, a kettle whispering on the stove, a wooden table between two friends. The teacher moves slowly, unhurried by clocks, as if time itself has loosened its belt for the night. He sets a simple clay cup in front of you. It is your cup, your mind tonight, warmed by steam, waiting. Hear the kettle's gentle murmur. It's the rhythm of your breath. On the in-breath, the kettle gathers a little more warmth. On the out-breath, it sighs. The teacher lifts a small pot and begins to pour. A slender stream of tea flows into the cup, amber and calm. At first there is space, plenty of room for what is being offered. Then the level rises. It covers the bottom, then the sides, then creeps toward the rim. You notice your own thoughts in that surface. A conversation you wish had gone differently. An email unfinished. The memory of a look on someone's face. The plan you keep rearranging. The shadow of a worry that hides beneath a different name. The stream continues. The cup fills to the brim, and then, delicately, it overflows. First one drop, then another, until the small saucer becomes a shallow lake. "Master," you say within, "the cup is full." "Exactly," comes the answer, kind and amused. "How shall we receive anything new when we are already full?" Tonight, there is nothing to learn, nothing to add, nothing to fix. The wisdom is subtraction. The practice is letting overflow happen without grabbing a cloth, without apologizing for the spill. We are simply watching. Your chest rises, your chest falls. The day rises, the day falls. The mind, like the cup, can be light again. Let's begin by noticing what filled you. Not with judgment, just recognition, the way you might name the colors in a sunset. On your next slow breath in, bring to mind one thing that has been especially loud today. On your longer breath out, watch it reach the rim and tip over. It doesn't vanish. It returns to the world as a harmless ripple on the saucer, as a dark thread soaking into wood, as a story that no longer needs to be held by the hand. Again, inhale gently, exhale longer. Another thought rises to the lip and slides down the side. The teacher doesn't flinch, neither do you. Feel the weight of your head resting on the pillow. That too can be a cup. Tilt it slightly with your awareness and let the small pebbles of the forehead roll away. The crease of concentration, the residue of screens, the echo of bright rooms. Smooth your brow from the inside with breath as soft as fog on the water. Eyes nestle deeper into their warm nests. The tongue releases the roof of the mouth and rests like a leaf on a still pond. If a thought appears, did I forget? Imagine the teacher's gentle hand turning the cup a fraction, just enough for the thought to slip over the edge and back into the night. Nothing lost, nothing needed. Now the shoulders. They carried bags of invisible stones today. Posture, expectation, responsibility. Imagine loosening the knot at the base of the neck with your exhale, as if untangling a soft string. Stones tumble out, silent as snow, disappearing before they hit the ground. Warmth filters down your arms, the quiet weight of upper arms, the easy bend of elbows, the pleasant heaviness of forearms. Hands soften. Each finger is a small cup of its own. Turn them palm up in your mind and let even the tiniest grains of effort pour away. A soundless thank you moves through them. Thank you for everything you held. You can put it down now. Return to the simple scene. The table's wood worn smooth by years of cups. The pot still pours, but what it pours now is breath, and the cup is the space of your awareness. With each exhale, the cup actually grows larger, more capacity, more sky. In this way, you are not emptying by force, you are making room by relaxing. When you relax, the contents settle. What looked like storm becomes sediment, and the tea clears on its own. Breathe in for a quiet count of 4. Hold for just a pause, the size of a comma. Breathe out for a gentle count of 6. As the breath lengthens out of you, imagine the surface of the tea smoothing. Again, in for 4. Pause, out for 6. The mind loves rhythms it can lean against. Soon it begins leaning on the breath the way a child leans on a parent when sleep arrives in the doorway. The effort to stay upright softens. Let your chest be a cup. Notice its rise and fall. Imagine each inhalation as the teacher refilling you with something lighter than air, space itself. Imagine each exhalation overflowing anything heavy, the conversation, the number, the plan. You don't need to catalogue it all. The overflow knows what to take. Your only task is to allow gravity to do what it has always done. Bring things to rest, now the back, with its quiet architecture. Let the muscles that hold you all day receive the night like an old friend. Between the shoulder blades, a warm hand. In the small of the back, a widening meadow. The abdomen releases, not pulled in, not braced, just easy. The belly is the softest bowl. Let it breathe like a tide. Hips settle deeper into support, as if sand is forming around them, cradling every contour. The legs, faithful travelers, get to be still. Thighs gain a pleasant weight. Knees feel unlatched. Calves soften, unbraiding the day's steps. The feet are the quietest cups of all. Imagine pouring out 1,000 footprints, 1,000 choices, until the soles are smooth and cool, like river stones at dusk. Toes spread a little, as if sighing. The body knows how to sleep. You are simply getting out of its way. If a stubborn thought returns, an image, a line of dialogue, a calculation, see the teacher smiling. He lifts the cup and turns it upside down. Not aggressively, just decisively. Whatever remains slides away without resistance. He sets the cup on its rim so a last drop can fall. It makes no sound you can hear, only a change you can feel. A small click in the mind as the hinge comes free. Emptiness is not a lack, it is a readiness. An empty field welcomes rain. An empty sky welcomes stars. An empty cup welcomes peace. Listen closely to the very edge of your exhale. There's a tender silence there, like the hush after laughter, like the room when the kettle clicks off. Rest inside that silence for a heartbeat or two, then let the next inhale come by itself. You don't have to take it, it arrives, soft as a hand placing a blanket over your shoulders. If memories visit, let them sit quietly on the far side of the table. They do not need to be sent away. They fade on their own when not fed by attention. If emotions arise, sadness, irritation, excitement, give each one a cup of its own and the same teacher's patience. Drink, you say kindly, spill if you must. Watch how they change when given permission. Even joy can be set down when it's time to sleep. There is a deeper joy that needs no story. The animal joy of being safe, warm, and home in your breathing. Now imagine the window above the sink. Outside, the night is simple and complete. The moonlight does not argue with shadows. It lays itself over everything, gentle and equal. That light enters the room, rests on the table, rests on the cup, rests on your face. With each exhale, the light becomes cooler, quieter, a silver balm smoothing the last eddies on the mind's surface. The tea within you has turned to clear water. The clear water has turned to air. The air is turning to space. If you like, whisper inwardly on the outbreath, empty, not as a judgment, but as a lullaby. Empty, and the shoulders drop another millimeter. Empty, and the thoughts fail to replenish themselves. Empty, and the space that remains is not lonely, it is alive with rest. This is not a door you must push, it opens on its own, the way petals open when morning takes the night's hand. You are not even walking through it, you are the door, already open. Breath by breath, you are becoming simpler, warm weight, slow tide, quiet heart. The teacher sets the pot down. The kettle is silent. The table is a shoreline after waves have ceased. The cup cools in the moonlight. You can feel its coolness as a clear dome over your forehead, a soft cap of ease. Under it, the mind is air. Thoughts can pass through, but there is nothing for them to cling to. They don't mind. They move on. If a last flicker of the day protests, but what about tomorrow? You can answer the way a kind parent answers a sleepy child. Tomorrow will be served in a fresh cup. The child nods without opening their eyes. The room settles. The night listens. Let the bed be the saucer that catches anything more that spills. You do not have to clean it up. Gravity takes care of it. Breath takes care of it. Time takes care of it. Your only part is this. In for 4, out for 6. In like a tide arriving, out like a tide returning. In like the kettle warming, out like the steam dissolving into the room. Continue until numbers lose interest and drift away without you noticing. Now, there is only the feeling of floating a few inches below the surface of your own life, where the water is perfectly still. The teacher's presence is still here, but it is wordless. If he were to speak, he would say nothing at all, and somehow that would be the clearest teaching, the lesson that arrives when the cup is empty, the peace that needs no explanation. You are ready for sleep the way a harbour is ready for a quiet boat. You do not need to steer, you do not need to dock. Simply be the water that receives what it loves without effort. The boat will find its own rest. The rope will tie itself in the dark. The tide will hold everything in place. The cup is empty. The night is generous. And you, lighter than breath, are already being carried. Rain has already done its work tonight. You can hear it in the hush against the window, a soft, steady brushing that smooths the edges of the day. Imagine a path running through a countryside, packed earth turned dark and glossy, puddles stitched together like small lakes. 2 travellers move along this road, robes damp at the hem, sandals leaving brief impressions before the water fills them. At a bend, they find a woman waiting, stranded at a widening pool. Without fuss, one traveller stoops, lifts her in his arms and wades across, the water climbing, the mud tugging, his steps slow and sure. He sets her down on firm ground. She bows. The 3 exchange small smiles, uncomplicated as lamplight. The travellers move on. Time passes. The rain eases. The air smells like clean leaves and cool stone. Eventually, the quiet traveler speaks, worried. We shouldn't have touched her. Why did you do that? The other smiles the way people smile when they've already forgotten the burden. I set her down miles ago, he says gently. Are you still carrying her? Let that question hang in the room with you. Are you still carrying what you already set down? The road of today is behind you. You've crossed every puddle you needed to cross. The woman, you know her by other names. The difficult conversation, the unreturned message, the thought that wouldn't stop circling, the tiny mistake you kept turning in your hands as if worry could polish it smooth. You carried each one as far as you had to. Now night has arrived to take what's finished back into the dark, like rain taking footprints back into the earth. Feel the bed underneath you, solid as dry ground after rain. Your body has its own muddy road, places that grip and hold long after the moment has passed. Begin at the brow. Smooth it from the inside with your breath, as if rinsing mud from a stone. On your next inhale, gather up the residue of the day's attention. On the longer exhale, let it trickle down and away. Breath in 4, breath out 6. Again, the eyes loosen. The muscles around them are no longer clenching against screens and bright rooms. Eyelids grow heavy, like leaves that have caught enough water and decide to rest. Jaw unhooks, tongue softens, resting where it wants to, not where you think it should. If a thought pops up, but I should have said, imagine setting that sentence down at the roadside, wrapped neatly, labelled for morning. You won't forget. You also don't need to carry it through the night. Whisper inwardly, if you like, on the out-breath. I set it down. Travel to the shoulders. They remember posture and pressure, the weight of unseen bags filled with expectation. Picture untying the straps. Let them slide away, slump to the ground, melt into the mud, and become part of the earth again. Feel the precise moment the shoulders drift a little farther from the ears, the way branches sag happily after rain stops. Arms hang heavy and kind. Hands are open bowls. Turn them palm up in your mind and see whatever remains, keys, lists, fragments, spill like water and soak into the soil of the mattress. There is no cleanup required. Gravity is your helper tonight. The chest rises and falls on its own. Let it. Each inhale is like stepping onto a patch of dry ground. Each exhale is setting down something you no longer need to carry. Breath finds a rhythm. In for 4, out for 6. In like the rain easing. Out like the puddles spilling into the ditch. The heart hears that rhythm and nods along, relieved to be simple again. Between the shoulder blades, imagine warmth spreading, a small hearth fire under the shelter of your ribs. It asks for nothing. It gives without asking. Down the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, give permission. You too can stop now. The lower back unbraces. The belly unfurls from its tight curl of planning and becomes tidal, soft in, soft out. The hips, 2 stones set in riverbed, settle deeper, supported from below. If a memory insists, mud clinging to the hem of your robe, notice the part of you that reaches for it. That reaching hand is the second traveller, worried, commenting miles later. Thank it for caring. Let the first traveller answer, we set this down already. On the next exhale, feel the small let go. It may be barely noticeable, like a knot loosening one thread at a time. Trust that. Sleep is made of many small permissions. Your legs, faithful and quiet, can stop marching. Thighs get pleasantly heavy. Knees feel wide, as though someone gently expanded the space inside them. Calves unwind their braided effort. strand by strand. Ankles release their small guardianship. Feet finally stop scanning for ground and simply enjoy being held. Toes soften, spreading slightly, like fans closing for the night. Listen to the sound of rain that remains in the room, even if outside it's only memory, the hush, the white noise that erases distances. Imagine it washing the road behind you. Every footprint you made today fills and levels out. Every place you paused and worried becomes smooth earth again. Nothing is lost. The path does not need to remember your weight to have mattered. Your nervous system learns from rain, a steady, gentle signal, repeating, calming, merging. Now picture a simple act you did today that was kind or necessary. Lifting, answering, waiting your turn, refreshing a page, being patient, returning to your breath even once. See yourself place that act down on the ground beside the road like a lantern. It keeps a small circle of warm light, then gradually grows dim as the night takes over. No drama, just completion. You don't have to carry even the good. The road holds it for you. Bring attention to the throat, the narrow bridge between mind and body. How many unspoken words or swallowed sighs gathered there? With your next exhale, let a silent sigh move through anyway. It's a doorway, not a dam. If tears wish to rise, they can. If not, that's fine too. Either way, flow meets flow. You are water meeting water. If another worry shows up wearing the face of the woman at the puddle, allow the first traveller to lift it once more, but only far enough to set it on the other side of this moment. See the clarity of the gesture. Pick up, carry, put down. No commentary, no replay. You are learning the seam between helpful effort and the habit of carrying afterward. Your body knows it. The moment where muscles do their job and the moment they release. Practicing this seam trains trust. Let the breath subtly lengthen, not by force, by invitation. In for 4, pause as small as the space between raindrops, out for 6. With each exhale, silently say, set down. With each inhale, feel how much lighter you already are without adding anything. That is the paradox of rest. Less is more, and nothing is everything. On the table of your mind, imagine a shallow wooden bowl. Set into it the day's heaviest stone, the topic that keeps circling. Notice its texture, weight, temperature. Give it a nod of respect. You mattered. Then with both hands of your attention, turn and place the bowl outside the door of this room. Close the door gently. Hear the latch click, a soft, satisfying sound. The stone is not erased. It is simply not in the bed with you. Tomorrow, if needed, you can open the door. Tonight, you leave it there. The space around you grows. The room cools a degree. Sheets take the imprint of your relaxed shape. Your breath now is long enough that the end of the exhale is a small pool of silence. Linger there. That pause is where the road and your body are the same, both finished with their work, both willing to be still without asking for a reason. If thoughts visit this pool, they disperse like ripples crossing each other and cancel themselves out. Remember the travellers one last time, smaller now in the distance, robes no longer wet, their conversation already dissolving into the rustle of leaves. One carries nothing but the present step. The other learns to set his thoughts down where they belong, in the past. You are both travellers. You are also the road. You are the rain that makes a soft world for sleeping. If a last reflex tugs, check this, fix that, hold on. Answer with a phrase that fits inside one breath. I set it down. Or, not tonight. Or simply, thank you. Each phrase is a hand on your own shoulder, a kindness that says, You can rest. I've got it from here. Your nervous system hears permission and releases its grip on the edges. Now your body is a quiet shore, tide moving in and out, unbothered by stories. The room is wider than before. The night is doing what the night does, keeping watch, stitching everything back together with silver thread. The muddy road has become a smooth path of dark velvet running through a field of crickets. There is nothing to cross. There is nowhere to arrive. You are already home. Breathe in softly. Breathe out longer. Feel the gentle weight of blankets as a friendly hand. Sense the small smile that arrives without trying, the kind that lives halfway between waking and dream. You have done enough. You have carried enough. You have set it down. Sleep comes the way the rain stops, not with a switch, but with a soft tapering until you notice only the quiet it leaves behind. Let that quiet find you. Let it fill the room. Let it be the only thing you carry now. Settle a little deeper into the mattress. Feel how the fabric adjusts to your shape, how the pillow accepts the weight of your head without argument. Tonight, we visit a quiet valley where a single farmhouse sits at the edge of fields. Fences line the hills in steady, thoughtful lines. A horse has just slipped the gate. Dust rises in the pale light, hangs for a breath, settles. Neighbours gather at the fence and shake their heads. Such bad luck, they say. The farmer wipes his hands, looks down the road where the horse disappeared, and answers, maybe. Days pass. Hoofbeats return. Your runaway horse with two wild companions trotting at his side, manes tangled with wind. The same neighbours lean over the fence, eyes bright. Such good luck! The farmer strokes a muzzle, knots the rope and says, maybe. His son, eager and fearless, tries to tame a new horse. Hooves flash, a fall, a cry. The boy's leg breaks. Such bad luck, the neighbours murmur, faces pinched with sympathy. The farmer binds the splint and holds his son's hand. Maybe, he says. Soldiers arrive to take the village's young men away. They nod at the boy's bound leg and pass him by. Mothers weep. Fathers stare at the ground. The farmer closes the door softly behind the soldiers. Such good luck, the neighbours whisper. The farmer sits with his son in the hush that follows and answers, maybe. Let that word be the softest place in the room. Maybe. The day tried on many costumes, good, bad, urgent, hopeful. It stands before you now in simple clothes and asks to be allowed to change. In this bed, in this breath, you can let the labels loosen, as if you're untying a knot you once pulled too tight. Start with a breath. In 4 counts, quiet and easy. Out. 6 counts, a little longer than you think. Let the longer exhale be your maybe, a hush released into the dark. Again, in for 4, out for 6. With each out-breath, the day's verdicts soften around the edges. If your mind brings up an event from today, a missed call, a small victory, a sentence you wish you could edit, place it on the farmer's fence for a while. Watch it under the same open sky that watched the horse run and return. Between you and the sky, the word maybe floats like a small, steady lantern. You do not have to dim the lantern or make it brighter. You just keep breathing and let it hang there, throwing enough light to see the next step, not the next mile. Feel your forehead from the inside. There may be a crease, a faint echo of effort. Smooth it with a slow exhale like a thumb smoothing a page. Maybe that thought is important. Maybe it isn't. Either way, it can wait. Eyes grow heavy behind their lids. They do not need to search the horizon. The valley is quiet. Soften the space around your temples and ears. Let sounds come and go without deciding anything about them. A car far off, the whisper of the heater, the house settling, each noise bows and continues on its way. Maybe, you say to every visitor, and doors remain open, unsticky, untroubled. Unclasp your jaw. Allow the tongue to rest broad and easy, like a boat moored in a still cove. If a memory splashes, watch the rings move outward until the surface becomes glass again. Maybe it needs attention tomorrow. Maybe it never needed the attention you gave it. Both possibilities are welcome in a room that has learned to trust the night. Travel to the shoulders, those faithful boards where the day lays its tools. Slide the tools off into the grass. Feel the precise instant when muscle releases its post and sinks back into the body's village. The neighbors inside you, nerves, fascia, tendons, murmur good, bad, urgent, too late. The farmer smile returns, maybe. Shoulder blades settle like two quiet stones at the bottom of a clear stream. Arms become pleasantly heavy, elbows lose their hinges. Forearms feel warm, as if light were pooling there. Turn your palms upward in your mind and notice how the hands stop sorting. No more piles labeled good and bad, success and failure. Tonight, they hold nothing but warmth. If a finger twitches as if to reach, reassure it with a breath-long whisper, "We're not deciding now." Maybe, let the breath pour down the spine as if you were rinsing a long piece of driftwood. Between each vertebra, space. Between each space, more room to not know. The lower back unbraces. The belly softens into its natural tide. Rise, fall. Maybe lives easily here, in the body's rhythm, in the ocean that never argues with its own shore. Hips settle, wide and supported. Imagine the field beyond the farmhouse, furrows running steady to the horizon. What grew there today will grow again. What failed will teach the soil something quiet and useful. Your pelvis is that field, open to rest, open to seasons. The word maybe is rain that comes when it comes and leaves when it leaves. Nothing to force, nothing to hold. Thighs release their quiet effort. Knees unhook and feel round. Calves unwind their rope of tension. Ankles soften, small gaits swinging inward to welcome sleep. Feet let go of the map. They do not need to know where the path is at midnight. The path will be there in the morning. For now, soles cool like stones along a riverbank at dusk. Toes spread with a sigh you can almost hear. Return to the story and let it retell itself inside you. The horse runs away, your plan changed, a door closed, a chance missed. Maybe. The horse returns with companions, an unexpected kindness, a lucky break, a new idea. Maybe. The sun falls, setback, delay, disappointment. Maybe. The soldiers pass by, relief, protection, a quiet blessing you didn't order but arrived anyway. Maybe. See how the mind wants to stop the wheel at good or bad and clamp it there. See how life refuses the clamp and keeps turning. Imagine a small basket beside your bed. Place in it one thing you were sure about today. Set it down gently. Say to it, maybe, and close the basket. If it is still there in the morning, you will open it again. If it dissolves overnight, it meant to go. Either way, night takes the responsibility from your muscles and gives it back to time. If the mind argues, but I need to know, offer it a seat on the farmer's porch. Pour it tea. Let it speak without interruption while you keep breathing. Watch its sentences change shape. The first I need to know becomes I want to know. Then I'm curious, then I can wait. The porch boards are warm underfoot. The valley listens, patient as mountains. Maybe is not a trick. It is the strength to stay put while the weather changes. With each exhale, welcome a very small uncertainty. It could be as simple as not knowing the exact time, not tracking how long you've been lying here, not measuring the distance to sleep. You can relinquish the ruler. Maybe I'm close. Maybe I already drifted and came back. Let that be both true and unimportant. Sleep, like the horse, comes and goes. It returns more easily when you stop shaking the gate. If a bright memory arrives, success, praise, a happy moment, let it glow and then dim naturally. Even good grows heavy if you clutch it too hard. Thank it and add a soft, maybe more will come. Maybe that was enough. Notice how the heart appreciates the balance, neither starving nor stuffed, simply satisfied. Let your breathing become so quiet you can almost feel the spaces between the notes. In. 4. Pause like a comma. Out. 6. Let the last beat of the exhale widen into a small meadow of silence. Stand in that meadow with the farmer at your side. He points to a distant ridge where dawn will one day return. Good? You ask. Maybe, he says, and you both smile because the question no longer has the same grip. Scan your body one last time from crown to heel. Wherever you find a verdict, tight, wrong, not enough, replace it with gentle description instead. Warm, heavy, floating, supported. Description asks for nothing. It simply notices. In noticing, muscles trust the floor, the mattress, the night. Picture the neighbours in your mind walking back to their homes, their voices fading, their judgments dissolving into the hum of crickets. The valley keeps its secrets. The farmhouse windows dim. Inside, the boy sleeps with his splint. The farmer sleeps in his chair for a while, then rises, covers his son, and blows out the lamp. In the darkness, even the word maybe goes quiet. There is only breath, like wind in wheat. There is only the soft rhythm that carries you. If one last thought knocks, urgent, glowing, listen to it as if from the next room. Let it speak once, then answer with the slowest exhale of the night and the smallest smile. Maybe, you whisper. The thought nods, softens, and curls up at the door like a tired dog. Now the bed feels wider, time feels rounder. The sky above the valley stretches star by star across your ceiling. You don't need to name them. You don't need to name anything at all. Names are for the daylight. Night is for being held. Breathe in for 4. Breathe out for 6. Let the horse graze in your ribcage meadow. Let the fence stand open without worry. Let the farmer's porch creak with the ease of wood that has seen every season and still says yes. What happened today is already joining the long, generous story where every page turns by itself. You are allowed to close the book before the ending, trusting that the next chapter will be there when you open your eyes. Maybe it will be bright, maybe it will be quiet. Either way, sleep is the bridge that requires no steps. Drift onto it. Be carried. Night has opened its cool hand. Feel how the room has softened, edges blur, sounds round off, and everything is touched by a hush that needs no reason. Imagine a small hut on the side of a quiet mountain. The door is a paper screen. The floor, smooth wood, faintly creaking with the breath of the earth. There is a simple mat, a kettle cooling, a single clay bowl on a low table. A window frames the sky. Outside, the moon is so bright it seems to be listening. A shadow crosses the threshold, a thief, careful and quick, eyes scanning corners for anything to take. The monk inside looks up and smiles, as if greeting an old friend. There is nothing here worth stealing. No coins, no ornaments, no hidden chest under the boards. The thief is embarrassed by the emptiness, fidgeting in a room that refuses to echo his hunger. The monk stands, unknots his robe, and holds it out. "You came so far," his eyes seem to say. "I can offer you this." The thief, confused by kindness, takes the robe and slips back into the night. The monk steps to the window and looks up. Moonlight spills down his face, silver and kind. If only, he thinks, I could give him the moon. Let that image settle inside you, a gift too large to be stolen, a brightness no hand can keep, a calm that belongs to anyone who looks. The moon cannot be taken. What is most precious about you, this clear awareness, this living quiet, cannot be taken either. People may demand your time, your plans, your attention. The world may jostle and reach. Still, the moon remains. Still, the deep part of you stays untouched. Take a slow breath in for 4 and out for 6. On the inhale, gather cool light through the window of your mind. On the exhale, let the day's small graspings fall away like a robe sliding from the shoulders. Again, in for 4, out for 6. You don't have to hide anything tonight. Nothing in you requires a lock. Feel your head rest heavier on the pillow. The space behind your forehead is a clear sky now. Thoughts may glide through like quiet birds. They don't need to land. Smooth the brow from within. If a worry tiptoes in, picture it as the thief, restless, looking for something to grab. Smile at it. Offer it the robe of your kindness. Let it leave with what doesn't matter, old rehearsals, stale comparisons, the urge to keep watch. Keep what can't be carried away, the light itself. Soften around the eyes. Lids grow warm and easy. The small muscles that squinted at screens and letters all day can lay their tools down. Let moonlight pool in the hollows around the temples, cool and spacious. You can say to yourself, quietly, no one can take this ease. And notice how the words change the room a little, like opening a window wider. Unclasp the jaw. Let the mouth rest in its natural curve. The tongue loosens, broad and floating, as if it were a leaf on a still pond. If an unfinished sentence tries to complete itself, let it trail off into a pleasant ellipsis. There is no conversation in this hut, only listening. The moon listens. The night listens. Your body remembers how. Let the breath glide down through the throat, that narrow bridge where so many swallowed words stack today. With every long exhale, feel the bridge widen, safe and free. The chest is a lantern lit by something softer than fire. Watch it rise and fall, rise and fall. Each exhale is an opening hand. Each inhale is light stepping inside. The shoulders have been doorways all day, thresholds that braced for weather. Let them become windows now. Imagine the fabric of effort sliding off like that robe, emptying your frame of weight that was never yours to keep. The shoulder blades settle like 2 smooth stones on riverbed. Warmth flows down your upper arms into the elbows. The forearms grow heavy, kind. Turn the palms upward in your mind. You're not holding anything now. Even blessings can be set down at night. The ones that matter turn to light and remain. The monk's hut is very simple, and it's enough. Simplicity is not lack. It is clarity. You do not need extra cushions to sleep. You need only this. Breath arriving and leaving like a tide that never missed a shore. In for 4, pause like a comma, out for 6. At the end of the exhale, feel the quiet that lingers. An afterglow, a small beach of silence. Step onto it. Stand there barefoot a moment. The sand is cool. Between the ribs, a slow widening. Imagine the moonlight pouring through the slats and laying a silver path across the floorboards, the way light makes a river indoors. Let that river wash the heart. Anything tight dissolves without drama, as salt melts into warm water. The heart is not a vault to be guarded tonight. It is a window with the curtains open to the sky. Whatever tried to close it, hurry, noise, expectation, cannot climb the mountain in the dark. Down the spine, vertebra by vertebra, you're being rinsed by quiet. Space opens between each bone, as if the body is remembering its original roominess. The lower back unbraces, the belly softens. Every inhale gently inflates that soft bowl. Every exhale lets it empty without effort. Let the belly be moonlit water, its surface smoothing with each breath. If a ripple cross-currents, thought, memory, plan, watch it widen, then vanish. Hips grow heavy and sure, like flat stones set in earth. They don't need to hold you up now. The bed does that. Allow gravity to be the caretaker. Feel the precise moment the hips stop trying. It's a small release, as distinct and quiet as the click of a latch. Inside that click is trust. Thighs lengthen into weight, knees relax their watchfulness. Something inside them sighs and expands. Calves unbraid their tension, strand by strand. Ankles loosen, small gates swinging open. Feet cool beneath the blankets, like stones beside a mountain stream. Toes uncurl and spread slightly, relieved to put down the map of the day. A breeze wanders the hut. It slides under the door and over the floor, lifting the edge of the mat and smoothing it back down. The monk is still at the window. He is not asking the moon for anything. He is simply grateful that it is there. What can be stolen is not ultimate. What cannot be stolen, the quiet, the present seeing, the spaciousness that holds your life, this is your wealth. Tonight you are rich in exactly this way. If a sharper thought arrives, dressed as urgency, let it step inside. Then offer it everything it can carry. The robe of opinions, the sandals of comparison, the staff of needing to be right. Watch it go, arms full of noise. Then notice what remains. The floor is still warm. The air is still tender. The moon is still generous. You are still here, lighter for the letting go. Breathe with the simplest counting, in for 4, out for 6. If counting fades, let it fade. The body knows the rhythm by heart. At the top of the inhale, feel a cool brightness touch the crown of your head as if a quiet hand were there. At the bottom of the exhale, feel a soft weight at the feet, anchoring you kindly. Between crown and soles, the whole length of you becomes a single open window. Think of the things that cannot be stolen, the way you notice, the way you care, the way your breath keeps returning even when you forget it. No one can take the kindness that forms in you when you are rested. No one can steal the way moonlight feels on your face. These are not possessions. They are qualities of being, like the moon being bright whether or not anyone looks up. Rest in that brightness, not as an object, but as a fact. Let your attention hover at the threshold of sleep the way the monk stood at his window. Unhurried, curious, at ease. You are not chasing rest, you are letting it arrive. If you feel yourself reaching, grasping for sleep as if it were a thing to catch, notice the reach, smile at it, and let your hand fall open. When the hand opens, the light can land there. Imagine the thief again, farther down the path now. He has taken the robe. Perhaps it warms him. Perhaps he sells it. Either way, the gift did its work. The monk remains with emptiness that is not empty, a room full of moon. This is your room too when the mind's shelves are cleared. Space that comforts, space that reveals, space that asks nothing. To be held by space is to sleep. Scan your body once more like someone walking with a lantern, slowly and without haste. Forehead, smooth. Eyes heavy and calm. Mouth softly closed or gently parted, whatever is easiest. Throat uncluttered, open to breath. Shoulders lowered, warm. Arms weighted, quiet. Hands unoccupied, receiving. Chest rising and falling like a tide. Back supported in every curve. Belly easy, hips anchored, legs restful. Feet cool and still. If you find any place still hiding a small guardedness, sit with it the way the monk sits with the night, not fixing, only letting the light touch it until it forgets to protect. If a question tries to form, what about tomorrow? Let it be the thief's last attempt. Offer it one more gift. Tomorrow will have its own moon. You don't need to hoard light. The sky gives it nightly. The sun returns daily. Nothing real needs guarding. A cloud passes over the moon. The room dims and then brightens again. Notice how calm remains through both. Calm is not a mood you have to hold. It's a space you notice. Clouds and clearings come and go. The moon goes nowhere. Now the bed feels like a shallow boat on a lake of silver. The boat does not row. It drifts. The water does the carrying. Your breath is the water, the gentlest of currents guiding you to the middle, where everything is quiet. If you like, you can accompany this with a whisper inside the out-breath. Untouchable, or safe, or simply here. Picture the moon setting its ladder of light across your floor, a soft path from the window to your body. It reaches your feet, climbs your ankles, your knees, your thighs, arriving at the belly and chest, then throat, then the soft architecture of your face. Each place it touches forgets to be complicated. Each place it touches belongs entirely to rest. There is nothing left to defend, nothing left to earn in this hour, no role to hold up, no mask to keep aligned. Even the idea of me can loosen, the way a knot loosens when the rope grows warm and slack. What remains is presence, simple, luminous, like the moon over a quiet mountain. If words continue inside, let them become fewer, then smaller, then lighter. They turn to breath. Breath turns to light. Light turns to sleep. The monk turns from the window, lies down on the mat, and closes his eyes. Not because he earned it, but because the night is generous. You too may close your eyes now, not to shut the world out, but to let the untakeable world within become all you need. In for 4, out for 6. The last bits of the day are like dust in a beam of silver, drifting without destination. They will settle where they must. You do not have to track them. You do not have to keep anything afloat. The moon is doing fine without help. And so are you. The room is quiet. Your body is safe. The part of you that cannot be stolen is already shining. Let sleep find that light and wrap itself around you like a robe freely given. Let yourself be carried, unguarded, unburdened, untouched by anything but peace. Imagine a courtyard at the edge of evening. Lanterns are being lit, one by one, the way stars blink awake. People pass through in small currents, voices low, sandals whispering on stone. On a bench beneath a pine tree sits a monk, hands folded, watching the last light fade from the roof tiles. A nobleman approaches, jaw tight, words sharpened. He unwraps a bundle of insults, polished and prepared, and thrusts them out like a brimming tray. Accusations, names, judgments, the old stories that try to make fire in your chest. The monk turns his head, listens, and then asks, almost curious, if a person brings you a gift and you do not accept, to whom does the gift belong? The nobleman, surprised into honesty, answers, to the one who offered it. The monk bows slightly. then I do not accept. Let that exchange arrive in your room and sit beside the bed. Your body knows what it is to be handed things you didn't ask for. Tones of voice, expectations, worries that are not yours. The weight of another's day placed on your shoulders as if you were a hook on a wall. Tonight, you are learning the simple etiquette of refusal without fight. Not anger, not argument. Just the kindness of not taking what would keep you awake. Breathe in for a count of 4, slow and even. Breathe out for a count of 6, a little longer, like pouring water back into a wide bowl. Again, 4 in, 6 out. On the exhale, imagine a tray being gently pushed back toward its owner, not with contempt, but with clarity. No, thank you. Let your forehead loosen. The day's masks slip off and stack themselves neatly on the nightstand, as polite as hats at a door. Smooth the brow from the inside. If a fragment of someone's words appears, sharp, insistent, picture it wrapped in paper. Name the package quietly, not mine. Set it down on the porch of your attention and close the door with a soft latch. You haven't thrown it, you simply haven't brought it inside. Soften around the eyes. Eyelids grow pleasantly heavy. The muscles that scan for threat can rest. There is nothing to defend here. In for 4, out for 6. As you exhale, watch the last traces of a stare or a frown float away like a small boat turning the bend of a river. Unclench the jaw. Let the tongue find its natural place, broad and quiet, like a leaf on still water. The words you could say in your defense can be set down with the others. Not every courtroom needs your presence. Not every bell requires your hand to ring it. Notice the quiet when the bell stays still. Bring the breath down into the throat. This is the narrow bridge where unsent letters stack up. With each long exhale, feel the bridge widening. If a sound wants to leave, an a sigh, let it pass. In for 4, out for 6. The air feels cool and kind. The shoulders carried arrivals today. Opinions, errands, expressions to mirror. At night, they are allowed to be doorways that close gently. Let them drop a few millimeters, the exact distance between obligation and ease. Imagine a postal clerk inside you with a simple rubber stamp. A box of someone else's heat lands on the counter. Stamp, return. Another box labelled urgent. Stamp, not at this address. A box marked my fault. Stamp, steady and kind, undeliverable. Feel the warmth move down your upper arms into your elbows, then into your forearms. Turn the palms upward in your mind. Hands open automatically when they aren't holding arguments. If the fingers twitch to reply, by message, by thought, smile and let them be still. The highest courtesy you can offer your nervous system is non-participation. What you don't pick up, you don't have to put down. Breathe into the heart space, the front of the chest. Imagine it as a window, not a vault. Anger knocking from the outside cannot enter if the window is simply not open for it tonight. You are not locking it against the world. You are choosing which weather to welcome. Let a cool breeze of moonlit air pass in. Let hot air rise and leave. In, 4, out, 6. Watch the inner temperature settle. Down the spine, vertebra by vertebra, rinse yourself with attention as if you were pouring clear water. Between each bone, a pause. In that pause, repeat, very softly, no, thank you. This is not refusal of life. It is refusal of borrowed agitation. The lower back unhooks its grip. The belly loosens and begins its gentle tidal rhythm. The body speaks in waves. The mind can learn its language. Hips sink deeper into support. Imagine them as 2 stones at the bottom of a clear stream, unmoved by currents at the surface. People may pass by above with their parcels and their declarations. The water moves around your stones and keeps going. You are allowed to be this steady when you sleep. Thighs grow warm and heavy, knees deepen, almost as if space increases inside them. Calves unwind their cords one strand at a time. Ankles soften, those small hinges that bear so much. Feet cool and widen under the blanket. 2 quiet maps folded and put away. Toes spread the smallest amount, like fans closing. If a memory of unfairness rises, a look, a sentence, a message, see it as a coal held out on an open palm. You do not need to grasp it to prove anything. Without your hand, it loses heat and dims. Watch it fade to ash on its own. You don't even need to blow. Time and lack of attention are gentle rain. Return to breath. In for 4, out for 6. At the end of the exhale, find the small, quiet platform where nothing is being accepted or rejected, just noticed. Stand there for a heartbeat, then let the next inhale come by itself. Now imagine a small room inside your chest with 2 tables, one marked for me, one marked not mine. Place onto the first table the things that do belong to you tonight. Warmth, gravity, breath, the right to rest. Place everything else, others' moods, past moments, imagined futures, on the second table. If the mind fusses, reassure it. We can sort in the morning. Tonight, we are custodians of peace. If praise or excitement arrives, a good gift, bright and glittering, notice how even that can overstimulate when the body is ready for sleep. You can smile at it and set it too, on the for morning shelf. What is yours will still be yours with sunlight. Rest is the friend of everything you love. Picture the courtyard again. The nobleman's words scatter harmlessly on stone. The monk's robe lifts in a night breeze from someone else's shoulders, then disappears down an alley. The pine leans and releases the day's stored rain in a hush of drops. The monk remains, breathing. He hasn't won or lost. He hasn't defeated anyone. He simply didn't take the fire into his house. Bring your attention gently to the solar plexus, the soft place under the ribs. This is where second-hand weather tends to collect. On the inhale, imagine fresh air entering and moving through. On the exhale, feel tiny windows opening in every direction. A flock of small birds, tension, echoes, little pricks of pride. Find the windows and fly out into the night. You don't have to track them. Flight is enough. Let your awareness drift to your throat again. If there's a sentence still trying to be said, give it a resting place. A notebook that lives in your imagination on the bedside table. The pencil writes by itself. I'll respond tomorrow. Close the cover. That is a response, the only one needed now. Scan your body once more, a lantern moving slowly. Forehead smooth, eyes heavy, cheeks soft, tongue quiet, throat wide, shoulders lowered, arms warm, hands open, chest easy, back supported, belly gentle, hips anchored, thighs restful, knees spacious, calves loose, ankles free, feet cool and still. Anywhere the lantern finds a small knot, sit with it without trying to undo it. Knots remember how to loosen when fingers aren't tugging. If a final thought knocks, let it in long enough to set its package on the floor. Then show it the sign on your wall. Deliveries resume at dawn. You are the keeper of hours. Night belongs to healing and to dreams. Breathe in for 4. Breathe out for 6. If numbers fade, let them. You already know the feeling, the exhale lengthening like a river into evening, the body weighing down a little more with each tide, the mind setting out unaccepted gifts on the porch and walking back inside to warmth. Beyond the window, the moon is not something you have to hold. It doesn't ask to be grabbed or kept. It shines because it shines. Your peace is like that when you stop putting your hands on the levers. What can be taken is not essential. What is essential cannot be taken. There is nothing left to accept tonight except support, breath, and the closeness of sleep. Let them come to you. Let the room be the quiet shop that has turned its sign to closed, lights low, shelves tidy. What was not purchased can rest where it is. What was meant for you is already in your hands. A blanket, a pillow, a slow, steady tide. Another breath in, another longer breath out. The courtyard empties. The pine leans into the night. The monk leans back against the bench, eyes half closed, the gentlest smile just noticeable. Not holding, not taking, not pushing away, simply here. As you are now, drifting, hands empty, heart light, sleep arriving like a soft-wrapped gift that needs no acceptance because it is not offered from outside. It opens from within. The lamp is low, the room is quiet, and the night is a calm field. Imagine a small village at the edge of a forest. Dawn has not yet chosen a colour. Everything is soft and blue. A figure steps out of a wooden house, closes the door without a sound, and faces the day with simple tasks. Before any big decisions, before any loud thinking, there is wood to split and water to draw. Hands know what to do long before the mind takes attendance. Feel your breath become that rhythm. In for 4, easy and unforced. Out for 6, a little longer, a little softer. Again, 4 in, 6 out. The longer exhale is the body setting down what it does not need to carry to the well. The path to the woodpile is familiar. Dew settles on grass. The axe waits where it was left, clean and patient. The figure grips the handle and raises it. The movement is one arc, like the arc of breath. Wood splits. The sound is clear and satisfying, not loud, just true. Log by log, each piece becomes 2. There's nothing dramatic here, and that is the point. Peace is ordinary. Peace is repetition done gently. Let your shoulders find that ordinariness. They don't need to assert or defend. They need only to follow the breath. As you inhale, imagine lifting the axe, shoulders widening just enough to welcome air. As you exhale for 6, let the blade fall through effort that is not forced. Notice the exact moment the shoulders lower a millimeter. That is what release feels like when it's honest. Another log, another breath. The mind may wander to yesterday's conversation or tomorrow's plan. The axe returns to your hands. The breath returns to your body. You split the log you are with, nothing more. If a thought calls from far away, you nod without turning. Not now. See how the thought, unfed, grows quiet and sits on the fence like a patient bird. Soften your brow. Smooth the small crease between your eyes from the inside, as if the thumb of your attention were rubbing away chalk from a slate. The eyes go heavy behind the lids. They no longer scan the tree line for what's next. They watch this swing, this breath, this hush. Now, the axe is hung back on its peg. The wood is stacked in neat chords that look like music written in grain. The figure picks up a yoke and 2 empty buckets and turns toward the well. Buckets thud softly against legs in a steady, almost musical cadence. There is nothing clever to do at the well. You lower the bucket. You hear the rope hush against stone. You wait for the sound, faint, precise, of water kissing metal. You lift. You carry. Let your throat open with that same simplicity. The breath travels down, cool on the way in, warm on the way out. If words want to climb up, let them sit on the steps and watch you pass. They can wait. You are carrying water. Feel the chest as a quiet bucket lowering and lifting. In for 4, the bucket descends. Coolness grows. Out for 6, the bucket rises. Weight returns, gentle and manageable. You do not rush the rope. The rope does not rush you. There is a pace that belongs to water, and you respect it because it makes everything easier. The shoulders roll back and down. Your arms grow pleasantly heavy from work that belongs to you and harms no one. Elbows warm. Forearms relax their stringy alertness. Turn the palms up in your mind. They are squares of sunlit wood on which nothing is being sorted. Hands which spend their days grasping, typing, scrolling, holding, can be bowls. Bowls hold by not grabbing. Your fingers know how to be empty. The path home from the well is the same path that leads to it. The difference is weight. The buckets are full now. They sway. They ask for balance. You walk more slowly. Your attention spreads wide to include the corners of your awareness. Not vigilant, present. This is the quiet skill of living, to adjust without anxiety. Let that widened presence move down your spine, vertebra by vertebra. Between each bone, a little more space. Between each space, the sense that nothing has to be solved tonight. The lower back unbraces as though someone unhooked a clasp. Pelvis grows heavier and kinder, supported from below. The belly becomes a tide pool, rising and falling in its own natural rhythm. The urge to hold it tight walks off the path and finds a seat in the shade. You set the buckets beside the stove. You pour. The stream is smooth, constant, small. It feels good to pour without spilling. It feels good to watch water become water in a new place. One task transforming into another with no loss of dignity. You dip a ladle. You rinse the bowl. You wash the apple. You fill the kettle. You wet the broom. Every act is a sentence with few words and no sharp edges. Bring your attention to the heart as if you were pouring water there. Not a deluge, just a steady stream. In for 4, out for 6. With each exhale, some small heat leaves, comparison, self-judgment, a leftover argument you kept turning like a stone. With each inhale, cool quiet enters with no conditions. The heart is a workplace and a place of worship. Tonight it is only a kitchen where everything is washed and put away. In the village, the figure eats simply, tidies simply, and steps outside again. The sun has climbed up the mountain of sky and now begins the long walk down. Shadows lengthen, and the wood you split earlier already smells faintly of smoke that will come later. The body you live in has its own shadows lengthening too, places that soften as night draws near. Notice your neck loosen, your jaw unhook, your cheeks fall gently toward gravity's kind hand. There is a path behind the house that leads to a narrow stream. Sometimes people go there to think. Tonight you go there not to think at all. You watch the water. It goes where the shape of earth tells it to go. If a branch fell, the stream would go around it. If the branch were pulled away, the stream would take the straight path again. Neither is wrong. Both are water. If a thought drops into your stream, watch it bob and drift out of sight. You do not need to wade in after it with your clothes on. You do not need to build a dam to hold it in place. The stream is not a lesson. It is what your breath already knows. You breathe in, you breathe out, you continue. Count 3 of those slow breaths and then forget to count. Let the body count for you. Let the earth count for you. There is a tally being kept by something older than thought. The number of times your ribs opened. The number of times they closed. It is a number too large for worry and too small for pride. The figure returns home when the first stars begin, sweeps the floor, lays more wood by the hearth. When a neighbour stops to share a story, you listen. When the story ends, you both sit quietly and watch the steam peel from a cup. There is a whole universe in a small curl of steam, and you do not have to name it to let it be beautiful. Scan your body as if sweeping a floor. No hurry, no corners skipped. Forehead smooth, eyelids heavy, tongue resting loose behind the teeth. Throat cool, collarbones easy, shoulders low, arms warm, elbows floating, forearms heavy, palms open, chest slow-tied, back supported, every curve held, belly soft, a meadow, hips anchored, 2 stones in a clear river, thighs lengthy and warm, knees spacious, calves unwound, ankles loose hinges, feet cool, wide, still, toes uncurling like small ferns at first light. If a restless part asks for a teaching, offer it the only one that matters tonight. When you wash the bowl, wash the bowl. When you breathe, breathe. When you lie down, lie down. That is all. The mind complicates because it is designed to help. Thank it for its service and hand it a simpler task. Count the breaths if you like. It will count until numbers dissolve into the softness they were meant to protect. There is a saying, before the big realization, chop wood, carry water. After the big realization, chop wood, carry water. That is not a joke, it is a blessing. It means you do not need to wait for perfection to rest. It means that rest is already in the work when the work is simple and kind. It means that tonight you can be complete without finishing anything. Feel the bed as a wooden bench that fits you exactly. Feel the blanket as a robe that is not earned but offered. Feel the darkness as a room that does not ask your name. Every time the breath travels its path, you are walking to the well and back. Each cycle lays down a track that sleep can follow like a footpath in long grass. If a last thought shows up wearing a uniform, urgent, buzzing, give it a job it can do quietly. Guard the door, you whisper, smiling. Nothing will happen. Guard it anyway. It straightens, nods, and stands outside. Inside, the house is yours. You move from room to room, turning down lamps. Woodpile, settled. Buckets, filled and covered. Table, wiped. The ordinary becomes ceremony because you are paying attention, and attention is the whole ceremony. Let the end of each exhale become a small pause, the way a bucket rests on the well's lip before being lifted. That pause is not empty, it is satisfied. It says, enough for now. In that pause, you might even feel a whisper of weight leaving the body, a comfortable fall deeper into the mattress, into the night, into the unargued truth that you are safe. The village sleeps. Someone snores softly in a house across the lane. A dog turns 3 times and collapses into dog dreams. A lantern gutters and goes out. Above it all, the moon keeps doing its cyclical chores without complaint, waxing, waning, rising, setting. The sky itself chops wood and carries water on a grand scale, day into night, night into day, without hurry, without applause. You are part of that rhythm and always were. You do not have to join it. You have only to stop resisting the drum you already match. In for 4, out for 6. The drum is not a sound, it is a knowing. The knowing is not a thought, it is a body feeling. The body feeling is not rare, it is with you now. You could dream of the forest, how trees hold stillness like a profession. You could dream of the well, how water reflects the sky and still quenches thirst. You could dream of the woodpile, how every piece fits another piece and heat appears as if from nowhere. Or you could fall straight through dreams into sleep, the ultimate ordinary miracle, as unremarkable and sacred as setting a cup back on the table after drinking. If you want a word to take with you, let it be simple. Here, or this, or even would. On the inhale, here. On the exhale, now. Or chop, water. If the words fade, let them go. The body already speaks fluent quiet. Everything that needed doing tonight is done, and everything left undone needed tonight more than it needed finishing. The well is capped. The axe is dry. The door is latched with a click you feel more than hear. The house settles. The bed settles. You settle. And then there is only breath. And then only the space around breath. And then only sleep opening like a gate you walk through without lifting a foot. The room is quiet and the bed is a small, steady island. Let your body arrive on it fully. Head heavy on the pillow, shoulders settling, breath smoothing out like ripples turning back into still water. Somewhere not far from here, in a valley of granite and pine, a stonecutter lifts his hammer. The morning is cool. The face of the rock is cool. He raises his arm, breathes in, and lets the hammer fall with a clean, ringing sound that feels like truth. Chip by chip, he shapes the world in front of him. Sweat gathers, dries, gathers again. The work is plain. The work is honest. Still, a seed in his chest whispers, "If only I were more." Neighbours pass on the path. A prince rides by with banners and bright silk and a retinue that parts the road like a river around a boulder. The stonecutter's hands pause. His heart leans. "To be the prince," the whisper says. "To be bowed to instead of bowing." That night, he lies awake, eyes open to the rafters, desire buzzing like a mosquito that refuses to land. In a dream that feels like a door, he becomes the prince. When he opens his eyes, he is in a palace with polished floors and many lamps. Servants move like quiet wind. People bow. He signs his name and doors swing open. For a time, this is sweet. The world answers to a lifted finger. But the sun rides up and heat presses on the city like a heavy hand. Curtains are drawn. Still the rooms grow hot. The prince's face shines with sweat he did not earn. Even I cannot command the sun, he realizes, frowning at the sky. The sun is stronger. He sleeps with that thought and dreams another door. He steps through and becomes the sun. Now he is light and heat, pouring over fields and roofs, filling windows, painting mountains in gold. People squint and shield their eyes. Streams flash like mirrors. The stonecutter below, who is no longer a stonecutter, feels the power of warming everything at once. Clouds rise from lakes at his touch. But soon, a dark, soft-bodied thing slides over him. A cloud floats between him and the world, and where he burned, it cools. Where he blazed, a shade moves. The cloud, he thinks, the cloud is stronger than the sun. He sleeps and becomes the cloud, broad, grey, generous. He drifts over valleys, letting rain thread down into dry soil. Asphalt drinks. Leaves gleam. Roofs tick with drops. He gathers himself until thunder speaks and the world listens. But then a high, invisible push takes hold. He is moved against his will, over mountain, over sea, pulled thin, torn, stitched again. A force he cannot see or hold sweeps him across the map. The wind, he realizes as he tumbles over a ridgeline. The wind is stronger than the cloud. He sleeps and becomes the wind. A long, clear muscle that bends trees and combs wheat and carves dunes one grain at a time. He runs along coasts. He whistles in alleys. He roars through canyons. He curls like a cat around chimneys. Birds lean into him and surf. Sails fatten. Doors bang. It is delicious to be everywhere at once, uncatchable. But one afternoon, he collides with a mountain and breaks against it, forced to split left and right, to rise, to thin. He pushes until he is tired, and the mountain does not move an inch. The mountain, he thinks, resting at last, is stronger than the wind. He sleeps and becomes the mountain. Old, patient, rooted all the way down into places where fire sleeps in stone. Seasons repaint his face but do not change him. He feels snow gather and melt. He feels rain thread into his cracks, freeze, Widen them a little, not enough to matter. He watches villages begin and end. He watches rivers age. Eagles land on his shoulders. Lightning visits and leaves black kisses that weather away. He is unarguable. He cannot be pushed. He cannot be bribed. He does not attend to rumor. This seems like the summit of power, until a small, familiar tapping begins at his base. The sound is gentle, persistent, like a clock learning to speak. Tap, tap, tap. A person stands there with a hammer and a will, lean, focused, humming softly between strikes. Chip by chip, a stair appears where no stair was. A shrine appears where there was only thought. Blocks for homes, stones for bridges, lintels for doors. The mountain feels himself shaped by the smallest instrument and the largest patience. Who is stronger than a mountain, he wonders. Tap, tap, tap. He knows the answer before the next flake falls. The stone cutter. He sleeps and wakes in his old body on his simple mat, with his simple tools leaning where he left them. Light through the window is ordinary light. The whisper in his chest has changed timbre. It no longer says more. It says enough. Breathe with him now, the way he does when he's about to lift the hammer. In for 4 and out for 6. Let the in-breath fill you with the plainness of morning. Let the out-breath lay down the weight of wanting to be otherwise. Again, 4 in, 6 out. Each exhale is a quiet enough. Smooth your forehead from the inside, the way he smoothed the face of stone after a cut. Let the crease between your eyebrows soften, then forget to return. The eyes become warm and heavy behind their lids, like 2 small bowls set down on a table that does not rock. Around the temples and ears, ease widens. Any leftover sound in the room, house settling, distant car, belongs to a world that is working, not a world demanding. You are permitted to let it work without you. Unclasp your jaw. Let the tongue rest broad and unbusy. The need to reply to everything, aloud or in your head, can hang its apron and go home. When the mind brings you an image of the prince, the sun, the cloud, the wind, the mountain, smile at each and let it pass. They came to show you something, and they did. Thank them, then return to the hammer in your hand, the breath moving in and out, shoulders lower a small, important amount. Notice that precise moment, the click of an unseen latch. You are stepping out of the house of comparison and into a yard where work is simple and kind. Warmth travels down the upper arms. Elbows feel unlatched. Forearms get pleasantly heavy, as if someone placed a folded blanket along them. Turn your palms upward in your mind. They don't have to hold a palace tonight. They don't have to hold the sky. They are empty bowls that prove emptiness can feel full. Let your breath slide down the throat like water lowering into a well, cool on the way in, warm on the way out. Chest rises and settles, a small bellows feeding a quiet, sufficient fire. If a sentence tries to start, about today, about tomorrow, let it taper at the end like steam as the kettle clicks off. You don't have to finish every sentence, you only have to sleep. Travel down your spine with attention, the way a hand travels down the handle of a tool. Between each vertebra, a little more space. Between each space, permission. The lower back unbraces, no longer a wall holding up the world, but part of the world being held. Belly unknots and remembers its tide. In flower, out flower. If a reflex to hold returns, an old habit, you can speak to it softly. We're the mountain and the stone cutter both. We can be still. We can shape. Right now, we're being still. Hips settle like 2 broad stones in a riverbed. Water passes around them and they do not need to lift to let it by. Thighs lengthen into their weight. Knees soften from guard to guest. calves unbraid, ankles loosen, small hinges no longer holding up a gate, just being hinges, feet cool, wide under the blanket, maps folded, roads put away. Toes uncurl and widen slightly, like small ferns uncurling at first light. If the old whisper of wanting shows up, wanting status, wanting praise, wanting certainty, let it take a seat on a warm rock and listen with you. Show it the tour it begged for, the prince who sweats, the sun that clouds can shade, the cloud the wind can move, the wind the mountain can turn, the mountain the stonecutter can shape. Watch the wanting get quiet on its own, not scolded but satisfied by seeing. On your next long exhale, hear it say, almost surprised, oh, let that oh be the air leaving your lungs and making room for sleep to come in. Return to the valley one last time. The stonecutter lifts his hammer. He listens. He doesn't rush. He doesn't postpone satisfaction to the moment of completion. Each strike is complete. Each breath is complete. He pauses to drink cool water. He pauses to feel the shade move a little as the afternoon tilts. He pauses to notice birds stitching the sky with small, neat threads. Life is not elsewhere. It is here, in the precise weight of this moment, which your body is now learning again. Breathe in for 4. Pause like a comma. Breathe out for 6. At the end of the exhale, there is a plateau of silence, a flat stone warmed by sun, where you can sit a heartbeat longer. Sit there. Nothing is asked of you. Nothing is missing. When the next inhale arrives on its own, let it lift you like a hand under your back. Scan gently from crown to heel, as if checking the edges of a finished piece. Forehead smooth, eyes heavy, cheeks soft, tongue quiet, throat open, collarbones easy, shoulders low, upper arms warm, elbows easy, forearms heavy, palms unoccupied, chest slow and even, back supported, belly gentle, hips anchored, thighs restful, knees spacious, calves loose, ankles easy, feet cool and still. Anywhere you still feel a corner catching the cloth of the day, round it with attention and leave it to time. Time loves softening corners. If the mind asks for a word to hold, offer it a small one that fits in your palm. Enough. On the inhale, en dash. On the exhale, oh, or just this. In, just, out, this. Let the word grow lighter with each breath until it is more feeling than sound. Outside, the grand powers keep doing what they do. Leaders make decisions. The sun crosses and falls. Clouds gather, part. Wind learns the streets of night. Mountains hold their places. Inside, the quiet power of being exactly who and where you are spreads like warmth in a stone at dusk. The strongest you is not the one who commands, but the one who rests in reality and works with it kindly. The lamp of thought has dimmed to a coal. The room has widened into a valley. Your bed has become a slope of smooth earth that accepts your shape perfectly. You are the stone fashioned into a doorway. You are the hand that stops fashioning when daylight is done. You are the breath that knows the way home without a map. In for 4, out for 6. Fewer words now, longer tides. The hammer is set down. The tools are leaned together like friends. The workshop closes itself. Night steps in and covers everything with a soft cloth. And you, having tried on the costumes of power and finding them all too large or too thin, return to the simple garment of your own breathing. It fits, it warms, it asks nothing. Sleep comes like a shadow the mountain does not chase and does not avoid. It arrives because the light changed, because the hour turned, because enough was done and enough was undone. Let it cover you, let it carry you. Let the last thing you know be the ease of a body that believes, down to the bones, this small, glad sentence. Just This is enough. The night has its weather, sometimes a hush like velvet, sometimes a wind that tests the edges of everything. Listen for a moment to the weather inside your room. There may be a fan, a car far away, the soft click of the house settling. Imagine, just beyond your window, a grove of bamboo. Slender green columns rise in a quiet crowd, leaves whispering in small silver waves. Farther off, an oak stands broad and certain, arms thrown wide like a declaration. Clouds gather, a breeze becomes wind. The first drops of rain tap the leaves, then thread together into curtains of sound. Breathe in for 4 and out for 6. Let the exhale be the wind passing through you and out of you, not something to brace against. Again, 4 in, 6 out. Each long out-breath says to the night, I can bend. The wind arrives with its whole story. It pushes, insists, asks who will give way. The oak holds itself rigid, proud of the strength that kept it upright through so many seasons. It clenches every fibre, refusing to bow. The bamboo answers differently. Each stalk yields, arcs, sings a soft, hollow tone as it leans. Leaves flutter, then knit back into place. The grove becomes a living wave that never snaps, 1,000 small yeses to a force that would snap a single no. Bring that picture into your body. Your spine is a bamboo culm, strong because it is hollow and segmented, flexible because it knows how to curve without collapsing. As you inhale, feel the spine lengthen a little, like a stalk reaching. As you exhale for 6, let it soften and arc a millimeter into the mattress, like bamboo bowing and returning. There is no effort to hold shape. There is trust that the shape returns by itself. Smooth your forehead from the inside. If there is an oak in you, stiff certainty, the day's insistence, let it rest. A tiny loosening at the brow is your first bow to the wind. Eyelids grow heavy. The muscles around the eyes stop gripping the world. They can watch storm and peace with the same calm, because both pass. Unclasp your jaw. Let the tongue rest broad and easy. Feel how much energy leaves when you stop clenching against conversations that are already over. If a sentence begins, I should have, let it bend in the middle and fall into silence on your next exhale. Not suppressed, not argued, just softened until it can lie down. Let breath slide through the throat. That narrow bridge has held back so many weather fronts of feeling. With each long outbreath, widen the bridge. Air flows like wind through a grove, and the grove answers with a hush, not a barrier. Now the shoulders, so often oaks. Notice if they're holding a storm posture. Inhale, they rise a little, making space. Exhale for 6. They melt, dropping like leaves after rain. Imagine each shoulder as the upper node of a bamboo stalk, and under your skin, a gentle hinge that prefers movement to strain. You don't have to picture anatomy. Just feel the difference between bracing and yielding. Yielding wins by not trying to win. Warmth moves down your upper arms. Elbows unlock. Forearms grow comfortably heavy. Turn the palms upward in your mind. Hands are leaves. They flutter when the wind passes, then settle flat again. If a finger curls to grab a thought, let it uncurl on the out-breath. The mind will offer branches to cling to. The body can teach it how to sway instead. Breathe into the chest and notice its tide. In for 4, ribs widen like a grove spreading. Out for 6, the whole front of you softens toward the mattress. There is a quiet musicality here, a reed instrument that plays the same simple note. Here, here, here. The heart listens and slows, deciding that weather is not a threat when the trees are wise. Travel down the spine vertebra by vertebra. Between each bone, make a little room with your attention, like the gap between bamboo nodes that gives the stalk its give. The lower back unbraces. It doesn't surrender. It participates. Feel that difference. Surrender is collapse. Participation is intelligent yielding. You are practicing the latter. Belly loosens. Let it be a small pool collecting rain. In, and the pool rises a finger width. Out, and the surface smooths, reflecting whatever sky is above it. There is no will in this. There is only cooperation with gravity and breath. If a flutter of worry ripples the water, watch it glide outward and disappear into the banks. Hips settle deeper into the bed. Imagine them as two wide roots under the grove, stability that doesn't need tension to exist. The wind can pass, the roots remain. Feel the exact moment when the hips choose support over effort, like a latch releasing with a soft, satisfying click. Thighs lengthen into their weight. Knees unhook. Calves unwind their braided alertness. Ankles loosen, those small hinges that bend so you don't break. Feet cool, widen, and grow still, the ground at last. Toes unfurl like bamboo leaves relaxing after a gust. Outside, the oak resists harder, as if making a point. A louder crack answers. A limb gives way. Clean, shocking, inevitable. The oak stands, but smaller, and the ground is littered with its certainty. The bamboo sighs and sways and continues, a choir of quiet resilience. You are learning which strength belongs to sleep. Let a breath practice follow the grove. In for 4, gather. Out for 6, yield. Again, let the out-breath lengthen another beat if it wants to. Each long exhale is a bow and a return, a promise kept without force. I can bend and rise. Bring attention to places that still feel like oak. Maybe the space between the eyebrows. Maybe the throat, the belly, the fists. Lay a hand of awareness there and whisper to that place on the out-breath, softer. Not a command, an invitation. It takes the invitation a little. Praise that small change with your next inhale. Repeat. Sleep is a stack of small permissions. If a memory arrives carrying wind, an argument, a surprise, a piece of news, do not meet it with hard edges. Let it blow through and name it only weather. Weather passes. You are a climate, larger, slower, choosing patterns that favor green. Imagine now that you are lying among the bamboo. The rain finds you lightly. The wind pours over and around you like water over stones. Leaves brush your skin with 1,000 soft hands. Above, the storm's underbelly glows, then moves on. You do not have to get up to help it go. You do not have to evaluate it. You let it be weather. You be earth. Return to the breath and make it gentle. In, 4. Pause like a comma. Out. 6. Let the end of the exhale widen into a small meadow of quiet. Stand there a second. This is where bending returns to stillness. The grove stops singing and simply listens. In that listening, your nervous system finds a different instruction than the day gave it. Not hold, but flow. Scan slowly from crown to heel as if you were walking the edge of the grove after the storm, checking for breaks and finding only arcs returning to center. Forehead smooth, eyes heavy, cheeks soft, tongue loose, throat open, shoulders lowered, upper arms warm, elbows easy, forearms heavy, palms open, chest slow-tide, back supported, belly quiet pool, hips anchored, thighs restful, knees spacious, calves loose, ankles free, feet cool, still. Where a knot remains, don't pull it. Moisten it with attention and time. Knots forget themselves when you stop tugging. If the mind asks, but what if the wind returns tomorrow? Smile inside. It will. That is what wind does. You will too. That is what bamboo does. Rest teaches the body the pattern it will need. Curve, don't crack. This lesson is physical before it is philosophical. You are embodying it now. Let a simple phrase ride your breath. On the inhale, I yield. On the exhale, I rise. Or soft in, soft out. If words fade, let them. The body knows before the language does. Imagine morning walking through the grove. Droplets bead on every leaf like strings of small pearls. The air smells rinsed. The oak is quieter, humbled by the night's conversation. The bamboo stands unbroken, a choir of green tuned by wind. This is not weakness. This is wisdom shaped into plants. The room around you is calm again. Your bed is a friendly field that takes your shape perfectly. Somewhere deep in your spine, a little bell rings, telling the rest of you that gravity is friend, not enemy. The bell tone spreads, skull to shoulders, to ribs, to hips, to soles, and the last bits of stiffness melt the way ice lets go of water and remembers it's the same thing. Breathe in for 4, breathe out for 6, longer, quieter, fewer edges. At the end of the exhale, set down the last rigid thought like a branch you don't need to carry and feel your body bow the smallest amount into sleep. Nothing collapses. Everything is held. If the night offers dreams, let them be wind through leaves, stories that move and then pass. If it offers pure dark, let your whole self be a grove in it, vertical, soft, unafraid. Either way, you do not have to try. The storm has taught what it came to teach. There is a time to be oak and a time to be bamboo. On this bed, in this hour, the wisdom is simple. Yield, rise, yield, rise. And somewhere between one rise and the next, you drift. So gently you don't notice when the wind becomes silence and the grove becomes sleep. The room is still enough to hear small sounds, fabric settling, a faraway car, the soft punctuation of your own breath. Imagine a stone courtyard under a pale sky. A banner hangs from a tall wooden pole, a square of cloth with a single brushstroke painted across it. A breeze moves, and the cloth flutters, then calms, then flutters again. 2 students pause beneath it. "The flag is moving," says one. "No," says the other, "the wind is moving." Their teacher, passing by, smiles without stopping. "Neither wind nor flag moves," he says gently. "Your mind moves." And he disappears into the quiet of the hall. Let the courtyard appear inside you. Feel the smoothness of the stones, the weight of air, the easy rise and fall of your chest. For a moment, you can let go of deciding what is moving. You can simply notice. Breathe in for 4 and out for 6. The longer exhale is like a breeze leaving the courtyard, soft, uninsistent, thorough. Again, in for 4, out for 6. Count 2 more cycles, then let numbers fade if they want to. The body remembers the rhythm. Let your attention rest on what is easiest to feel. Maybe it's the coolness at the tip of your nose on the in-breath. Maybe it's the warmth spreading through your ribs on the out-breath. Perhaps it is the weight of the blankets, their gentle gravity teaching your muscles to unclasp. Smooth your forehead from the inside, that little crease between the brows. Let it widen and flatten like a pond when wind slips away. The eyes, behind their lids, become warm and heavy, like stones that have been sunlit all day and now give the warmth back tonight. If your gaze wants to look for the flag, let it instead rest nowhere in particular, the way sky rests on everything. Unclasp your jaw, Let your tongue rest broad and quiet. Thoughts may unspool, a conversation, a memory, the next thing. Watch them the way you watch the banner, a movement that doesn't need your hand on it. On the out-breath, they loosen as if a knot slipped without tugging. Breathe down through the throat, cool in, warm out. The throat is a bridge where many small caravans pass. Tonight the toll is simple. Move slowly, make no noise. The chest follows, rising and falling like a small sail that catches only what it needs. The ribs open, flag, wind, mind, all briefly aligned in one easy curve. Shoulders soften. They've been flagpoles all day, stiff against weather. Let them tilt a degree toward the mattress. Notice the moment they drop. A small, precise mercy. Warmth moves down the upper arms. Elbows unhook. Forearms grow pleasantly heavy. Turn your palms upward in your mind. Hands, forever reaching, can be flags at rest now. Hanging, not signaling, saying nothing. Bring attention to the spine. Imagine each vertebra as a square stone in the courtyard path. Between stones, small seams of moss, softness that allows everything to fit. Let breath travel down that path. Where it finds stiffness, it lingers like afternoon sun. Where it finds space, it glides like shade. The lower back unbraces. Pelvis settles as if lowered onto a cushion made exactly for it. Belly loosens into its tidal job. In, a gentle swell. Out, the shore revealed again. If worry tries to ride in on the out-breath, notice it the way you notice wind, something passing through. You do not have to stop wind to feel stillness. You let it move through a larger space that doesn't move. That larger space is here every time you open attention wider than the thought. Hips are two quiet stones now, sure and supported. Thighs lengthen into their weight. Knees soften and feel round. Calves untwist. Ankles loosen. Small hinges no longer braced. Feet cool and widen. Toes unfurl like little flags deciding there is nothing left to announce. Return to the courtyard. A faint bell in the distance marks time without urgency. The banner lifts and settles. Wind is visible only by what it touches. Thoughts are like that. Movements we infer by the flutter of attention. When a thought tugs the cloth of your awareness, try naming it softly, like a helpful label set gently on a shelf. Thinking. Then return to the feeling of breath moving. A sound floats through the night. Hearing. A cool patch of sheet touches your ankle. Touching. A picture arises in the mind's eye. Seeing. No story is required. The labels loosen the glue. In for 4. Out for 6. On an out-breath, imagine holding the snow globe of the mind, glitter of plans and images swirling, then placing it on the courtyard wall and not shaking it anymore. You don't force the snow to fall, you simply stop swirling it. Gravity and time take care of the rest. Flakes descend without being told. The scene clears on its own. If a decision tries to stand between wind and flag, which is it? Smile at the part of you that likes answers. Offer it this softer one. Not deciding is a form of rest. The teacher walked on because the point wasn't to win the argument. The point was to look where movement really began. Every time you return gently to breath or weight or sound, you are walking on too. Let your awareness widen like the sky over the courtyard. In that sky, wind happens, flags happen, bells happen. None of them disturb the sky. Notice the difference between the presence that notices and the content it notices. The noticing is quiet even when the content is busy. The noticing is open even when the content is narrow. Rest as the noticing for a few breaths. In for 4. Out for 6. The body sighs when it recognizes home. If a tense spot remains, a shoulder, a small crunch at the base of the skull, a knot beneath a rib, bring a soft attention to it, as if you had a warm palm of air to lay there. On the in-breath, say silently, welcome. On the out-breath, say, soften. You are not commanding, you are inviting. Even a small change counts. Sleep is made of many small changes that agree to happen in the same direction. Now, listen to the simple music of the room, a faint hum, a distant sound, the almost silence between your breaths. The mind will try to lean forward, to catch, to assess. Lean back instead. Let sounds come to you, let breath come to you. Let the mattress hold more of your weight by a few grams with every exhale. Picture the banner again. Notice not the cloth, not the air, but the mast, the steady thing that allows movement without being moved in the same way. There is a mast in you, the spine, yes, but deeper, the quiet sense of being that doesn't argue. Rest your attention there. From that place, the flutter is harmless, a gust of memory, a flit of image. The mast does nothing special to survive the night. It is simply itself. Count 3 slow breaths and then forget to count. If numbers continue, let them play like children far away, pleasant, unimportant. You are not on duty. You are the courtyard after visitors have gone, still warm where footsteps were, cooling by slow degrees. If the mind returns to the teacher's sentence and starts polishing it, neither wind nor flag moves, mind moves, let it have its minute. Then offer another step. Even the mind can rest. When mind rests, the banner is cloth again, the wind is air again, and you are not a judge of either. You are a sleeper in a quiet room, forgiven of choices for the length of the night. Scan once more from crown to soles, a lantern carried slowly along the perimeter. Forehead, smooth, eyes, heavy, jaw, unclenched, throat, open, shoulders lowered, arms, warm, hands loose, chest easy back, supported belly, soft, hips anchored, thighs, restful, knees spacious, calves loose, ankles free, feet cool and still. Where the lantern finds a corner, it rounds it by standing there a breath longer, then moves on. Let the end of each exhale widen into a little terrace of silence. Stand there. Nothing is moving you forward. Nothing is pulling you back. It feels like the half second after a bell stops and before the air forgets its shape. In that terrace, decisions dissolve into being. You can forget the question and keep the peace that asking tried to find. If dreams come, let them be small flags on distant poles. Waving at weather, you don't have to read. If only darkness comes, let it be a spacious sky that holds a soft breath, a warm body, a slow heart. Either way, your task is simple. In for 4, out for 6, returning, like a teacher walking the same path he's walked 1,000 evenings, smiling at the same banner, hearing the same breeze, and loving both for how they appear and pass. The courtyard fades. Your own room returns, a safer courtyard, lit by the faintest glow. Your bed is the cool stone that fits your shape. The air is kind. Somewhere, a small argument inside you gives up because there's no audience. The banner hangs without needing to prove it's moving. The wind visits and leaves by itself. The mind, reassured that nothing will be lost by resting, loosens its hold on names. One more slow in-breath, as if drawing the night halfway to you. One more longer out-breath, as if letting the night step the rest of the way. At the end of the exhale, something clicks, the simplest latch, and the room grows a degree quieter. You are not trying to sleep. Sleep is what remains when trying bows and leaves. There is only breathing. There is only the ease of being held. There is only the soft truth the teacher pointed to and then walked past. What moves can move. What is still can be still. And you, having set down the need to decide, drift where the flag drifts when the wind is gone. Downward, inward, into a deep and generous calm. Let the room go dim in your awareness. Let the edges blur. You don't have to look at anything right now. You only have to be held. A breath arrives, quiet, cool, and a breath leaves, longer, warmer. Imagine night settling over a small temple garden. A stone path leads to a round well. The water is dark and still. The sky is clear. A woman in simple robes kneels by the well with a wooden bowl. She scrubs it by starlight, not in a hurry, not with any goal beyond clean. As she rinses the bowl, the surface of the well smooths, and the moon appears there, whole and perfect. White coin, quiet witness. For a moment she is dazzled, as if the moon has come down to float at her fingertips. Then the bowl slips. A small splash. Rings move outward from the center. The image shivers, breaks, multiplies, vanishes. She looks up. Of course the moon is still in the sky, untouched and calm. Hold that feeling. The difference between the reflection and what it reflects. Tonight, thoughts on the surface of your mind are water. The breath is gravity. What is truly you, the still, simple awareness, remains like the moon itself, not threatened by ripples, not improved by glass. Breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, soft in for 4, long out for 6. With each out-breath, the surface quiets. With each in-breath, a coolness moves through your chest, like night air over water. Smooth your forehead from the inside. If you feel a crease between your brows, imagine touching it with the tip of a finger and watching it fade the way ripples fade. Not by effort, but by loss of interest. Eyelids grow pleasantly heavy. Behind them, let your gaze go unfocused, as if you were looking into a wide, dark pool. You don't need to see clearly. You need to soften enough that clarity finds you on its own. Unclasp your jaw. Let the tongue rest broad and quiet, like a leaf floating. If a thought forms, I should have. Let it arrive the way a ripple arrives and let it travel outward without following it. Ripples leave when they are not pushed. Breathe down through the throat. Feel cool air slide in, warm air slide out. The chest rises and falls in a reliable tide. If there is a place here that feels guarded, as if it learned to hold itself all day, invite it to stand down. You can even whisper inwardly on the long exhale, not now. Shoulders lower a fraction, the exact amount that separates bracing from resting. Let them be the round lip of the well, stable, unstraining. Warmth runs down the upper arms into elbows and forearms. Turn your palms upward in your mind. Hands that held to-do lists and conversations all day can be bowls tonight. Empty, clean, ready for nothing. Bring attention down the spine, vertebra by vertebra. Between each bone, imagine a little space where night gathers like cool air between stones. The lower back unhooks. The belly softens and begins its untranslated rhythm. Rise, fall. If you notice a reflex to pull the belly in, let it go. The well does not pull the water tight, it allows it to lie level. Hips sink deeper into support. Imagine the mat under the nun's knees, steady, uncomplaining, patient. Let the bed be that for you. Thighs lengthen into their weight. Knees widen and feel round, unbusy. Calves unbraid their daytime tightness. Ankles loosen, small hinges done for the night. Feet cool and widen. Toes unfurling like lily pads drifting into place. Return to the well. Return to the bowl. Think of how many reflections troubled you today. A stray comment, a number on a screen, a plan that shifted, a memory that showed up wearing brighter colours than it had in the moment itself. None of them were the moon. They were the dance of light on water. Useful sometimes, even beautiful, but not the thing. Try this practice. When a thought arrives, name it gently as reflection and let it pass. Reflection. When a feeling arrives, name it. Weather. When a body sensation draws attention, name it. Wave. Labeling is not judgment. It is a soft hand placing things on the right shelf so you can rest. Breathe in for 4 and out for 6. On the out breath, imagine you are lowering the bowl to float on the water, then letting your fingers leave it. It drifts a few inches and settles. You do not need to chase it. The surface finds its shape without help. Let the breath be a cleaner now. Each inhale, it fills the bowl with cool clarity. Each exhale, it pours out whatever residue remains from the day. The gritty feeling behind the eyes, the too bright echo of a screen, the last thread of hurry. You do nothing but breathe. The cleaning happens because that's what breath does when you stop interfering. If a sharp memory insists, like a pebble thrown into the pool, watch the rings it makes, big near the splash, smaller farther out, then gone. You don't have to take your shoes off and wade in to fix the rings with your hands. You let gravity and stillness finish the work. Scan your body again, slower now, as if you carried a lantern around the well's stone rim. Forehead, smooth, eyes, heavy, cheeks, soft, mouth, unclenched, tongue, loose, throat, open, collarbones, easy, shoulders, lowered, upper arms, warm, elbows soft, forearms, heavy, palms, open, chest, tidal, back, supported, belly, quiet, hips, anchored, thighs, restful, knees, spacious, calves, loose, ankles, free, feet, cool and still. Imagine the nun testing the water's surface with one fingertip. A single circle spreads, thin and silver, then disappears. She smiles, not because she controlled anything, but because she remembers that the real moon was never inside the well. Let that be your smile. Small, private, just enough to tell your nervous system, we can stop now. If the mind wants a story, give it this one, gently, like a bedtime cup. There was a bowl, there was a moon, the bowl fell, the image shattered, the moon remained. That is all. Let the mind drink and quiet. Your breath is steady now, soft in for 4, long out for 6. At the end of the exhale, there is a second where nothing needs to happen. Stand there. It's the space after the bowl settles, before the next movement. In that second lives a kind of trust that is older than thought. Rest there. Let the next inhale come on its own, like light sliding over the well's rim. If thoughts build again, try loosening attention rather than tightening it. A tight stare keeps ripples alive. A wider gaze lets them vanish into context. Widen attention to include the whole field. The coolness on your skin, the weight of the blanket, the hush between sounds. The more you include, the less any one ripple matters. Picture the sky above the temple now, deep and spilling stars. The moon stands whole, patient as a quiet teacher. Nothing can smudge it. Clouds may wander. They neither stain nor save it. It doesn't need protection. Your awareness, simple, open, has that same quality. You don't have to generate it. You notice it and stop crowding it with reflections. Bring a hand to your belly or chest if you like, feeling the move of breath under your palm. If a sentence rises, I'll think about this tomorrow. Let that be your only plan. The bowl will be there. The well will be there. The moon will be there. You need not hold them through the dark. The night does the holding. Now invite a softer image, the bowl turned upside down on a towel, water beading and running away. Upside down, it cannot collect reflections. Upside down, it dries. Imagine your mind like that, the surface safely hidden, nothing to catch the restless light. You are present without catching anything. You are here without making pictures. Another breath in, cool even. Another breath out, long, unhurried. If numbers have faded, let them stay gone. You can ride the sensation instead, the gentle lift, the easing return, the quiet at the end. Each cycle takes you a little farther into the middle of the night where everything is simple. If a last worry tries to bargain, but what if? Let it finish the sentence. Then, with the next exhale, give it to the well. You don't push it down. You place it on the surface and watch it drift until you can't see it in the dark. Things entrusted to the night come back smaller, or not at all. The garden grows cooler. Crickets sow a steady seam of sound along the edges. Somewhere a door slides shut with a soft wooden click. The nun stands, dries the bowl, and carries it inside. No dramatic lesson, no ceremony. Just a quiet step and a quieter room. Let yourself make that same move inside, from edge to center, from water to bed, from reflection to the thing reflected. For a final time, sweep your attention from crown to soles, not to fix, but to bless. This and this and this, all allowed to rest. If a knot remains, promise it morning and leave it untied. Not every knot is for night hands. You're close to sleep now, the way the well is close to sky. One holds the other without touching. One more soft in-breath, enough. One more longer out-breath, more than enough. Feel the small internal latch click as effort lets go. The surface is clear. The bowl is at rest. The moon is where it has always been. And you, no longer chasing or polishing or peering into every ripple, are free to sink into the larger stillness that never depended on any image. It holds the bed, the breath, the body, the whole room. It holds the night. It holds you. Let it. There is a cup on the table, warm from your hands, catching the lamp's soft circle of light. The teacher once held such a cup and smiled at it the way you smile at a friend before a long goodbye. This cup, he said, is already broken. He didn't mean it with sadness. He meant he could enjoy it fully, precisely because he didn't demand forever from something made to shine and then depart. He drank his tea as if it were the first and last sip at once, and when the cup finally shattered one afternoon, he nodded, swept the pieces gently into his palm, and thanked it for the service it had given. Let that understanding settle in the room with you. Everything today has been a cup, the conversation that warmed you for a minute, the plan that held your attention, the small victory with its sweet glaze, even the mistake with its uneven rim, already changing, already moving toward another shape. Knowing this isn't loss, it is permission to rest, to set down your grip, to sleep. Breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, soft in for 4, long out for 6. With each exhale, feel the hands of your mind loosening around anything they've been clutching. The tea is meant to be drunk. The cup is meant to be used. The day is meant to end. Imagine the cup's history, a mound of clay in a potter's palm. Press, turn, lift, smooth, the wheels spinning like your breath's steady circle. The kiln's heat turns softness to form. Glaze turns dullness to shine. A hairline crack exists even then, invisible, part of the cup's destiny. Knowing this, the potter still loves the shape, drinks from it, shares it, washes it, lives with it until the day it becomes pieces that glint briefly in the sun and then rest. Your body has lived a day like that, formed by effort, rounded by moments, glazed by feelings, carrying warmth. Now it wants to be washed by sleep. Smooth your forehead from the inside. Any crease between your brows is just a trace of today's kiln. Let cool air pass over it. Eyelids go heavy and kind, like shutters closing on a house that knows the night watch is generous. Unclasp your jaw. Let the tongue settle broad and quiet, a leaf on a still pond. If the mind tries to rehearse, tomorrow I must. Smile at it, as the teacher smiled at the cup. Already broken, you can whisper to the plan, not in despair, but as a reminder that tomorrow will change as it comes. You don't need to carry it through the dark. Let air slide through the throat, cool on the way in, warm on the way out. The chest is a vessel rising, settling, rising, settling. Notice how breath fills the cup of the ribcage without spilling, then pours back into the room as warmth. In for 4, out for 6. The shoulders drop a small, important distance, the difference between guarding and resting. Feel that tiny click inside, like a latch releasing. Warmth moves down the upper arms into elbows and forearms. Turn your palms upward in your mind. They've held so many cups, keys, phones, feelings, tasks. Tonight they hold nothing. Fingers soften, uncurling like petals closing in darkness. The hands understand the teacher's sentence without words. They accept that everything they touch lives in time. They become light. Bring attention down the spine. Imagine each vertebra as a ring formed on the potter's wheel. Stacked, aligned, spaced with care. Between each bone, a little softness remains, like the cushion of air between stacked bowls. Let breath travel down, rinsing the day from between the rings. The lower back unbraces. The belly loosens into its tidal rhythm. Rise, fall. No need to pull it in. No need to hold anything up. The bed is the shelf that holds you. Hips sink deeper into support, 2 stones set in gentle earth. Thighs lengthen into their weight. Knees feel round, unbusy. Calves unbraid their tight cords. Ankles loosen. Ordinary hinges done with the door for tonight. Feet cool, widen and grow still. The only map they need now is the distance to sleep, which is no distance at all. Toes uncurl and remember they have always been small. Tender things that love warmth. Return to the teacher at his table. See how he cradles the cup with both hands, not as property, but as a companion in that moment. He enjoys the warmth traveling into his fingers, the faint fragrance rising, the light touching glaze. He doesn't keep glancing at the shelf to make sure the cup is safe. Safety is in this sip. He doesn't drink hurriedly to reach an imagined last best sip. This sip is it. When he sets the cup down, he truly sets it down. He doesn't set it down and secretly hold it in his mind. He trusts the table to hold what he no longer needs to hold. Let setting down be your practice now. With the next exhale, set down one specific thing. The image you kept polishing, the line you wish you'd spoken, the angle of someone's face, the number that hovered on a screen. Place it on the table. Hear the quiet sound of wood taking weight. Breathe. Another exhale, another offering. The table keeps taking, endlessly patient. The room grows simpler. If a counter voice rises, "But what if I forget?" you can answer the way the potter answers a shard. Then it was meant to be part of the floor I walk on, not the cup I carry. Memory that needs keeping will return in morning light. What leaves never belonged in your hands tonight? In for 4, out for 6. On the out-breath, imagine the cup resting in moonlight. See a tiny crack appear. Not breaking, just the truth showing itself in silver thread. Feel how that doesn't diminish the beauty. In a way, it increases it. Impermanence makes tenderness. Your muscles get the message. They don't need to be perfect to be done. Your breath gets the message. It doesn't need to be deep to be good. It needs only to be kind. Bring awareness to the heart. It too is a vessel that fills and empties all day. Affection, irritation, hope, doubt, laughter, quiet. Some drops remain like stain. On the inhale, imagine clear water pouring in. On the exhale, imagine tipping the heart slightly and letting anything stale spill without ceremony. Not dumping, just pouring. The stain lightens each tide. A memory may arrive of something that broke today. Plans, mood, sentence, patience. Let it come. Don't glue. Don't sweep. Place it in your palm and feel its edges, sharp in spots, smooth in others, still warm from friction. Say to it, as the teacher would, "Thank you for being part of the shape." Then lay it gently on the shelf in the mind where the broken becomes raw material for tomorrow's mosaic. If tears want to rise, they are only water finding its level. A cup cannot keep what it cannot keep. Let water move. The pillow knows how to dry. The face knows how to soften after. Nothing is wrong. The glaze simply got warm and ran. Let your breath lengthen without effort. In for 4. Pause like a comma. Out for 6. At the end of the exhale is a small flat place. The table, the shelf, the kiln cooling. Stand there for a heartbeat. This is the moment the potter waits for. Not the firing, not the glazing, but the cooling that makes everything safe to touch. Sleep comes from this part of the process. Scan slowly from crown to heel with a lantern of attention, as if you're closing a studio for the night. Forehead, lights out. Eyes, covered. Cheeks, soft. Lips, at ease. Tongue, resting. Throat, clear hallway. Shoulders, tools hung. Upper arms, benches wiped. Elbows, empty. Forearms, quiet weight. Palms, open shelves. Chest, fires banked. Back, sturdy wall. Belly, tied at slack. Hips, kiln door closed. Thighs, benches stacked. Knees unlatched. Calves, strings cut. Ankles, hinges oiled. Feet, cool tile. Toes, little spoons nested. If a thought insists, "But what if the cup breaks tomorrow?" Answer with the teacher's smile. "Then I will drink fully tonight." This is not denial. This is the clarity that deep rest gives. Rest is what allows you to meet the crack without shattering at the same time. Rest is what makes hands steady with glue when glue is useful, and steady with sweeping when sweeping is kinder. Imagine now a shelf of cups you've known, moments, roles, versions of yourself. The one who tried very hard, the one who laughed loudly, the one who endured, the one who began again. Some cups still whole, some mended with bright seams of gold, some only remembered by the ring they left on a table long ago. Send a small bow down that shelf. Every cup got you here. None can be carried forever. What is carried now is simpler. Breath, warmth, gravity, sleep. Let the breath turn velvety. Numbers can fade if they want. Ride sensation, the cool edge at the nostrils, the slow stretch across the ribs, the soft surrender at the bottom of the exhale. Let the bottom widen until it feels like you're setting the whole day down and hearing it rest. If a corner still lifts, set it down again. Kind repetition is how the mind learns to trust. The teacher reaches for his cup, and it slips. A soft sound, then a sharper one. Silence. He looks at the pieces the way a gardener looks at autumn leaves. Part of the cycle. neither failure nor surprise. He sweeps carefully, not cutting himself, not rushing. He empties the dustpan into a small clay bowl reserved for such ends and sets it by the door to return to the earth. Then he makes tea and drinks from another cup, untroubled. It is not heartlessness. It is exactly the opposite. A heart aligned with how things are. Let your heart align with how things are in this bed. The day is done. Whatever remains to be done does not belong to the night. The body is warm. The room is safe. The breath is steady. The mind is teachable. Teach it now the phrase that opens doors. Enough for today. Say it on the outbreath. Enough for today. Feel the shoulders respond. Say it again another breath later. Quieter, like explaining to a child who already knows. Enough for today. The child nods and sleeps. If the mind wants a story to dream, give it a kind one. A potter walks to the river at dawn, gathers clay, wedges it smooth, and forms a cup with patient hands. Years later, a different pair of patient hands gathers the shards and tucks them into soil where flowers will root. Between those two moments is 1,000 sips of tea and 1,000 nights of rest. The cup did its job. So did the crack. So did the hands. Everyone gets to sleep. There may be one stubborn piece of today that keeps glittering. Hold it to the lamplight of your attention and turn it once, twice. See it thoroughly, then place it in a small cloth bag inside your chest labeled mourning. Tie the string. Set it on the table of the heart. The table is solid. It will keep your small bag safe until sun. You do not need to clutch it in your fist while you dream. Let the end of your exhale become a small lake. The surface is unbroken. The moon is whole. No bowls are falling. No hands are reaching. Only reflection and the thing reflected in quiet agreement. Rest on that surface without breaking it. You don't need to sink yet. You need only to stop stirring. If sleep begins to take you in bits, momentary falls, soft returns, welcome each as a fragment learning where it belongs. The self that needs to run the kiln can rest. The self that needs to drink the tea can rest. The self that worries about the crack can rest. What remains is simpler than a name. Warmth under a blanket, breath moving in a body, a room that approves of you exactly as you are, already complete for this night. One more slow in-breath, not deep, just honest. One more longer out-breath, a pour that empties the cup without spilling a drop. Listen for the small internal click, the shelf taking the day's weight, the studio's last lamp switched off. The darkness that follows is not empty, it is full of sleep. And you, like a cup set safely upside down to dry, are done holding. Air moves around you. Time will do what it always does, soften, change, carry. The moon will rise and set without help. The world will be there when you open your eyes. For now, you can be the most beautiful kind of cup, one that has completed its use for the day and rests, quietly, completely, already forgiven for being breakable, already perfect for being here. Imagine a small courtyard just after dusk. A paper lantern glows like a low star. You step into a quiet room where a teacher sits with a bottle on the table, clear glass, round belly, narrow neck. Inside is a gosling, soft and curious, pecking gently at its reflection. Time passes in a handful of sentences. The gosling grows, it becomes a goose. The glass has not changed. Same narrow neck, same hard, unyielding rim. How? Asks the student. Do we get the goose out without breaking the bottle or harming the goose? The teacher smiles, a smile that knows what problems are made of. He claps his hands once, a sound like a tiny bell. There, he says. It's out. Let the riddle sit with you the way warm tea sits in the hands. held, not gripped. Your day offered bottles, tight frames you tried to think your way through. The mind loves bottles. It blows them from thought. It polishes them with worry. It points to the thing inside, your schedule, yourself, your future, and says, trapped. Tonight, we'll learn another move. Not breaking, not forcing, but noticing the bottle is made of thought and letting the thought go clear. Breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, soft in, long out. With each exhale, feel the room widen a little, as if the walls were moving away by inches. Bottles feel smaller in big rooms. Soften your forehead from the inside. The crease between the brows is often the neck of the bottle, narrow, convinced. Smooth it with attention, the way thumb and forefinger might polish a bead. Eyelids rest heavier. Behind them, let your gaze go unfocused, as if you were looking through glass and remembering there's air on both sides. Unclasp your jaw. Let the tongue relax broad and quiet, a leaf on a still pond. If a sentence starts, but what if, let it finish itself into silence on your exhale. Bottles are sentences that forgot how to end. You can give them endings. A period made of breath. Feel the breath slide through the throat. Cool in, warm out. The chest rises like a calm tide and settles like water finding its level. Place one hand, if you like, on the sternum, sensing movement. Each long exhale is the teacher's clap, simple, complete, reopening the world. Bring to mind one bottle from today. It could be a problem that loops, a role that felt too tight, a story about who you must be. See it clearly for a moment. The glass, the narrowness, the goose of your attention pacing inside. Now look not at the goose, not at the glass, but at the seeing itself, the part of you that notices. That part is already outside. It always was. Breathe there. In for 4, out for 6. Let your shoulders lower a small, important measure. The distance between, I must solve this now, and I will let this solve in time. Warmth moves down the upper arms into elbows and forearms. Turn your palms upward in your mind. Hands make bottles all day, gripping, shaping, holding. Tonight they become bowls. Bowls don't trap. Bowls receive and release. Feel your fingers soften, uncurl. Forget their urge to arrange. Travel down your spine with attention, vertebra by vertebra. Imagine each bone like a glass ring you can step through. The space between rings is soft green moss, your permission to rest. The lower back unhooks, as if someone quietly slid the cork free. Belly loosens into a tide. In, swell, out, settle. Nothing to pull in, nothing to hold up. Gravity is friendly, let it. Hips sink deeper into support, 2 stones at the bottom of a clear stream. Thighs lengthen. Knees feel round and unbusy. Calves unwind. Ankles soften. Little hinges done for the day. Feet cool and widen. Toes unfurl like small birds settling their wings. Return to the table in your mind. The bottle sits there clear as logic. The goose looks at you, and you can feel your habit. To plan the angle, to compute the turn, to design an extraction. Instead, try this. Let the entire scene move outward by a few feet. You're not pushing it away. You're discovering the space it floats in. Notice how the pressure changes when you are not pressed against the glass. The teacher's clap is the sound of attention widening, of a frame loosening its grip. Practice a soft labeling. When a problem-forming thought arrives, images, words, a familiar squeeze, name it thinking, kindly, the way you'd greet a visitor, then escort it to a wide balcony of breath. In for 4, out for 6. The thought may remain, but the bottle loses its walls. If the mind protests, "But there is a real goose," smile. The body is the goose, and it's safe on the table, not in glass. Feel the reality of your body. Weight on the mattress, warmth under the blanket, breath moving. This is outside the bottle. Touch it with attention. It answers with ease. Let's loosen further with a small exercise. Picture an apple in your hand. See it. Color. Shine. Now, without changing the apple, widen your view so your hand, the table, and the room appear. Widen again. The building, the street, the sky. The apple didn't need solving. The frame needed space. Your problem was framed apple tight. Your breath is the widening. In for 4. Pause like a comma. Out for 6. At the end of the exhale, there is a clear, flat second. Rest there. That second is the moment before the mind says, bottle. In that second, life is just what it is. Breath, contact, sound. It's enough. Scan gently from crown to heel, closing unused doors, forehead, smooth, eyes, heavy, cheeks, soft, mouth, unclenched, tongue, loose, throat, open, collarbones, easy, shoulders lowered, upper arms, warm, elbows easy, forearms, heavy, palms, open, chest, slow tied, back, supported, belly, quiet, hips, anchored, thighs, restful, knees, spacious, calves, loose, ankles, free, feet, cool and still. If you find a knot, a mini bottle, do not pull. Place it in the palm of attention, breathe around it, and let the glass turn to air on its own schedule. Now try the koan the way it works on muscles. Choose a small tension between the brows, at the jaw, beneath a rib. Ask silently, how do I release this without breaking anything or forcing anything? Then clap with the next exhale by doing nothing extra. The release, if it comes, is not your doing. It's what happens when doing pauses. If a memory arrives, bright and insistent, an old sentence, a face, an outcome you keep rehearsing, see it in the bottle for one breath. Then imagine the teacher placing the bottle behind him on a shelf and clapping once. The scene is still available. It's just not in your hands. You don't have to break glass to rest. You have to stop carrying it. There is another way to practice. Let attention feel 3 sounds, 3 touches, 3 breaths. 3 sounds, perhaps a faint hum, a distant car, the hush of fabric. 3 touches, the sheet at your ankle, the pillow at your cheek, the air at your nostrils. 3 breaths, in 4, out 6, once, twice, 3 times. By the end, the mind is anchored in a world that needs no solving. Bottles dissolve in contact with what is actual. Consider now the nature of the goose. It grew because you fed it attention. Worry as grain, replay as water. You don't have to starve it. You can let it graze in a field instead of a bottle. The field is your present moment body. The goose is your energy, the warm animal of you. Invite it out by noticing warmth in the chest, heaviness in the limbs, the soft spread of your back across the mattress. Without glass, the animal lies down. Breathe and try a word that opens frames. Spacious, in, spardash, out, sius, or simply open, in, o-dash, out, pen. If words fade, let them. The feeling they pointed to is enough. If a part of you demands a clever solution, but how is it out? Offer the simplest physics. Attention creates inside and outside. When attention rests as the whole room, nothing is trapped. When it narrows, bottles appear. You can choose wide right now, not by force, but by letting the next long exhale spread like ink in water. Return to the teacher's clap. Hear it once more, sharp, friendly. With that sound, imagine the edge between me and problem blur. You are the room in which both appear. The room does not squeeze itself to rescue its furniture. It holds. Holding is the rescue. Let your breathing grow velvety. Numbers can disappear. Ride sensation. Cool in. Warm out. Gentle lift. Easing return. The soft landing at the end. Notice the landing most. That is where bottles vanish. A final small practice, if you like. Picture two hands in your chest. In one, the bottle. In the other, nothing. On an exhale, place the bottle into the empty hand and watch both open. See the object stay in mid-air for a heartbeat, and then realize air was holding it all along. Hands, mind, bottle, unnecessary for this holding. Sleep is like that. An opening of hands that reveals the holding was never yours to do. The room grows quieter. The lantern in the courtyard gutters and steadies. Somewhere, a door slides shut with the softest click. The teacher rises, puts the bottle back on the shelf, and leaves the room exactly as he found it, except for the echo of that one clap, which keeps widening until it's indistinguishable from silence. If a last thought knocks, let it enter and set its glass on the table. Offer it water, not argument. Then watch it remember where it was going and see itself out. You didn't fix it. You didn't fail it. You allowed it to be larger than the frame it arrived in. One more easy in-breath, as if the night were stepping toward you. One more longer out-breath, as if you were stepping back to give the night the room it needs. At the end of the exhale, feel a small internal latch release, the mind's hand coming off the glass. The goose is lying down in the field. The bottle is just light and angle now, a toy the mind forgot. You are here, warm, heavy, utterly untrapped. The bed holds. The breath takes care. The world continues without your grip, and as trying loosens, as frames open, as the last glass turns to air, you drift, quietly, completely, into the wide borderless meadow that was waiting the whole time. Night has settled in the corners of the room. Your breath finds its slow rhythm, a tide that doesn't ask questions. Imagine a narrow road through fields gone silver with dew. A traveller moves along it, cloak brushing thistles, sandals quiet on the path. He carries a coil of rope and a small bucket because there's a well at the crossroads ahead, and water tastes better when the stars are up. He reaches the well and leans over the round stone mouth. The water is black and still, a circle of night within night. Then, there it is, an impossible thing. The moon, white and whole, lying at the bottom as if it has fallen out of the sky. His heart lifts to his throat. He fumbles with the rope, tying quick knots, picturing hooks and nets he doesn't have. He leans farther. The moon trembles. Rings of light widen and blur. He reaches with the bucket. The white disc fractures, doubles, slips away from the bucket's lip. He pulls back, breath fast. The moon, he whispers. The moon has fallen into the well. Let him stand there. Let the scene hold still like a painting. You know what he will learn in a minute. Nothing in the sky has changed. But for this moment, feel the way a mind can believe what water tells it. The way worry can rush through the body like wind through wheat. You have had your wells today. Screens, faces, words, surfaces that showed you something and convinced you it was the whole of it. Tonight is for stepping back. Breathe in for 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, soft in for 4, long out for 6. On each exhale, imagine you're stepping half a pace away from the well's edge. Distance is kindness. The farther you stand, the more you can see the sky above the circle. Smooth your forehead from the inside. The crease between your brows is where the traveller's urgency lives. Let it soften like ripples calming. Eyelids grow heavy, as if a warm hand has rested over them. Behind the lids, your gaze can look nowhere in particular, wide, not narrow. When the gaze widens, the well becomes only a well again. Unclasp your jaw, let the tongue rest broad and quiet, a leaf floating on its own reflection. If a sentence begins, "What if?" let it trail off into the long slope of your exhale. The question can finish in the morning. For now, it can dissolve into dark water without a splash. Let breath slide down the throat, cool in, warm out. Feel your chest rise like a bucket going down, fall like a bucket coming up full. The body knows the well's rhythm better than the mind does. Trust that knowledge. In, 4, out, 6. The traveller tries another bucket, another angle. He leans too far, and the stone lip presses into his ribs. He is working so hard to rescue what needs no rescue. A breeze passes. Somewhere an owl calls. The traveller pauses to listen. In that pause, the water stills, and the moon becomes whole again, a pale coin lying where his eyes think it is. He looks up. Of course, there is the moon where it has always been, suspended and indifferent, bright and unthreatened. He laughs, a soft, embarrassed sound. He unties his knots and sets the rope aside. He drinks a ladle of cool water, tasting iron and stone and night, and feels the edge drain out of him. Let that laugh move through your room, the relief that comes when you realize you were solving an echo. Bring to mind one thing from today that felt like a fallen moon, a worry that glowed too bright, an image that wouldn't leave, a sentence that seemed heavy enough to pull the sky down. Hold it lightly in your attention and ask, without sarcasm, without heat, well or sky? If it's a well, let the breath be a breeze that stills the surface. If it's the sky, it will remain whether you watch it or not. You can stop guarding it. Feel your shoulders respond to this sorting. They've been the stone rim all day, hard, holding you close to the edge. Let them lower a little, the difference between bracing and being held. Warmth moves down your upper arms, into your elbows and forearms. Turn your palms upward in your mind. Hands that wanted to scoop the moon can rest open now. They are bowls again, not hooks. Travel down the spine with your attention, vertebra by vertebra, as if your hand were tracing the curve of the well's inner wall. Between each bone, a finger width of space, moss soft, forgiving. The lower back unhooks, the uniform loosened, the watch done for the night. The belly resumes its tide. Rise, fall, no need to cinch it in. Wells don't hold water by tightening. They hold by being steady and round. Hips settle deeper, 2 stones set in kind earth. Thighs lengthen into their gentle weight. Knees unhook. Calves unwind, rope laid down neatly. Ankles loosen, small hinges that have closed the gate. Feet cool and widen, the soles remembering the shape of ground. Toes uncurl, like small boats pushed gently from shore. Return to the crossroads. The traveller sits on the well's rim now, elbows on knees, looking up at the real moon. He notices how the air feels on his face, the way coolness lays a hand on the forehead, and then leaves it there. He feels the pull in his body ease, the way a knot relaxes after it has realized no one is tugging anymore. He drinks again, slower, and watches the white disc tremble and reform with each ladle. He doesn't try to make it stay. He doesn't try to make it go. He lets water be water. Practice that permission. As a thought arrives, notice the first shimmer, the way attention reaches for it. Label it gently, reflection. On your exhale, watch it widen and fade. Another thought, reflection, A feeling, weather. A sensation, wave. Names are not cages. They are small lanterns that keep you from walking straight into the water. You stand a step back, dry and warm. Breathe in for 4. Pause as small as a comma. Breathe out for 6. At the end of the exhale, there is a bright, flat second, the surface when the last ripple has finished its journey. Rest there. This is the second where the mind remembers the sky without looking. If memory brings a pebble and drops it, plunk, the rings will come. You don't need to scoop them. Watch how quickly they thin when you do nothing. Doing nothing is a skill. You are learning it. The body helps. In 4. Out 6. Each long exhale is a choice not to reach. There's an old trick for nights like this. Pick 3 things you can hear, 3 places you feel contact, 3 breaths you can notice. Hear, maybe the distant hum, a whisper of fabric, the small room silence between them. Feel, pillow at cheek, sheet at ankle, air at the tip of your nose. Breath, one tide, another. By the end of that counting, the world has returned to what is actual, and reflections have become what they always were. Light on water. If you find a part of you still leaning over the edge, between the eyebrows, at the throat, behind the heart, place the hand of your attention there. On the inhale, say inwardly, see. On the exhale, say soften. Don't push it away from the well. Invite it to sit beside you and look up. It has been on duty a long time. It is allowed to become a sky watcher now. Let the scene widen. The fields on either side of the road are calm. Crickets sowing their small, neat stitches through the dark. A fox slipping along the hedgerow with the certainty of a letter delivered. The faint scent of damp soil rising as if the earth were exhaling too. The sky is an enormous bowl turned right side up. The well is a small bowl turned upside down, keeping secrets inside stone. Both are doing their jobs. Neither needs you to supervise. Scan your body as if you were walking the rim with a lantern. Check in. Only checking, no fixing. Forehead, smooth. Eyes, heavy and warm. Jaw, unclenched, tongue resting loose. Throat, open, air passing politely. Shoulders lowered. Upper arms, warm. Elbows, easy. Forearms, pleasantly heavy. Palms, open, not asking. Chest, slow tide. Back, supported in every curve. Belly, soft, a small lake following the moon. Hips, anchored. Thighs, restful. Knees, spacious. Calves, loose. Ankles, free. Feet, cool, still. If a piece of you insists on tugging a rope, but what if tomorrow? Let it hold the rope loosely and feel that the other end is tied to nothing. It's only a rope. You can coil it slowly and set it by the well. You can say aloud in your mind like a shopkeeper turning a sign, water again at dawn. The well is not closed. It is resting. Try a question that opens instead of tightens. Is this the well or the sky? When the answer is well, teach yourself the motion that follows. Step back, breathe out, look up. You do not need to trust the water to trust the moon. Another breath. In for 4, out for 6. The end of the exhale begins to feel like a gentle descent. An elevator that opens onto a darker, quieter floor. Let it open. Let it keep opening. If you return to the brighter floor for a moment, that's fine. The elevator knows its route. You can step back in with the next long out-breath. The traveller stretches his legs. He leans against the well's warm stones and tilts his head until the moon sits on the edge of the wall like a coin balanced on a thumb. He remembers how tightly his chest felt a few minutes ago and smiles again at the trick water played. He is grateful for the lesson and more grateful for the cool ladle he didn't spill chasing reflections. He stands, finally, and ties the rope neatly, not for rescuing the sky, but for drawing tomorrow's water. Picture yourself doing the same with your thoughts. Tie them neatly. No knots so tight they bite. No tangles that will frustrate the morning. A simple coil, a simple place to set it. If an image keeps shimmering, lay a cloth over the well in your mind, the way villagers do to keep leaves out, and feel how immediately the reflection disappears. The moon is not offended, it is relieved of your stare. Now let words get small. If the mind asks to hold one, give it something gentle, not sharp. Maybe, only sky, in, on dash, out. Lie sky, or let be, in, let dash, out, be. If words fade, it means they did their job. The quiet they pointed to is enough. Listen for the point where sounds no longer come from a distance, but from within the same soft field as breath. That's the drift beginning. The rim of the well grows far. The road loses its edges. The fields move only when your lungs do. You are not falling. You are floating in a bowl perfectly made for you. If a last small worry pops its head up like a night creature, curious blinking, greet it, pet its fur with one breath and point to the moon. See how it looks up despite itself. In that upward glance, it forgets to nibble your sleeve and wanders off. Not defeated, recruited to the larger gaze. Dawn is a rumour now, nowhere near but possible. The traveller takes one last drink, sets the ladle on the stone and turns home. As he walks, he doesn't check the sky. He has remembered how the world holds itself. You can remember too, your body breathing without your permission, your heart finding its own pace, the mind, when unprovoked, becoming a clear well that reflects without snaring. One more in-breath, honest and simple. One more longer out-breath, the rope uncoiling and then settling into a loose circle. Hear the tiny internal click, the latch of effort letting go, the sound a room makes when the light is turned off and the dark deepens by one gentle shade. The surface of the well is calm. The moon is where it belongs. Your hands are empty, open, warm. Nothing needs rescuing. Nothing in you needs to lean over the edge tonight. The sky is doing its skywork all by itself, and sleep is the well that doesn't demand a reason. Let yourself be the traveller who learned the difference, who set down the rope, who walked home under a right side up moon, and who slipped into bed with the good cool taste of water still on his tongue. Let that taste be your last waking thing, the flavour of enough. Then let even that become reflection and disappear, leaving only the steady, generous sky in which you drift and rest. The room is quiet. A small light pools on the nightstand and the rest is gentle dark. Let your body make contact with the bed the way shoreline accepts water, without argument. Breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and out for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, soft in, longer out. Each long exhale is the room growing a shade softer, the world asking less of you. Imagine a courtyard at evening. A teacher lifts a hand and points past the tiled roof toward a round moon rising, pale and whole. A few students follow the line of his arm and see it. Others stare at the finger, studying the joints, the nail, the way the wrist turns, arguing about whether the angle is correct. The teacher smiles, then says nothing more. He leaves his hand where it is, patient as stone. The lesson is the difference between what points and what is pointed to. Let that image settle in you. Today was full of fingers, notifications, headlines, numbers, expressions, plans, even your own thoughts, each insisting, look here, Some of them mattered. Many were only signposts. The moon was the simple, steady thing behind them all. Being alive in this breath, in this body, in this moment that asks nothing but presence. Tonight is for looking up. Smooth your forehead from the inside, as if your attention were a cool cloth. The crease between your brows is where argument gathers. Let it loosen. Eyelids grow comfortably heavy. Behind them, allow your gaze to widen, not focusing on any point, like looking at the whole sky at once. When the gaze widens, the finger loses its urgency. Unclasp your jaw, let the tongue rest broad and quiet, a warm leaf floating. If a sentence begins, "Tomorrow I must," let it rise like a finger in the foreground, and then move your attention past it into the wide dark behind. The sentence can wait where all fingers wait, at the edge of the frame. Breathe down through the throat. Cool in, warm out. The chest rises and falls as if a tide were passing under a pier. In for 4, out for 6. The longer exhale is a small bow past the pointing, toward the simple moon of breath itself. Let the shoulders drop a quiet millimeter, the distance between effort and trust. Feel the exact click when muscles stop holding up the day's signposts. Warmth slides down the upper arms, into elbows, into forearms. Turn the palms upward in your mind. Hands are always pointing, grasping, scrolling, indicating, rating. Tonight they are bowls, and bowls do not instruct, they receive. Fingers uncurl. They have nothing to direct. Bring attention to the spine. Imagine each vertebra as a small tile leading from the courtyard out into the open. Walk them with breath. Between the tiles, moss-soft spaces where you can pause. The lower back unhooks like a latch gently pressed. Pelvis grows heavier and kinder, supported from below. Belly loosens into the night's tide. Rise, fall. The moon pulls oceans. It can pull a soft stomach too. Hips settle as 2 smooth stones in a garden path. Thighs lengthen into their weight. Knees unhook. Calves unwind the day's rope of motion. Ankles loosen. Feet cool and widen. Toes unfurl like small petals that have decided enough sunlight has been tasted for one day. Return to the courtyard. The teacher's finger is still lifted, but you barely see it now. Your eyes know where to land. The moon doesn't ask for concentration. It offers a kind of permission. You can stop naming. Practice that. Let attention rest on the simplest sensations. Unlabeled. The exact temperature at the tip of your nose as air arrives. The quiet expansion beneath your ribs. The pull of gravity along the back of your thighs. This is what the pointing was for. Try a small exercise of widening. Picture a single letter on a page. The letter is a finger. Now zoom out until you see the word, the sentence, the paragraph, the whole book spread open. Zoom out again to the room where the book rests, the window, the night beyond. Keep the letter, but make it smaller in a larger whole. Do the same with a thought. Let it shrink to scale inside a spacious awareness that does not need it to change. In for 4, pause like a comma. Out for 6. At the end of the exhale, notice the stillness that follows. The sky when no one is pointing. Stand there a heartbeat. In that stillness, the body remembers how to trust the bed entirely. Bring a gentle scan through the face, forehead, smooth, eyebrows, released, eyes heavy, lids like curtains pulled together, cheeks, soft, lips, resting, tongue, broad and loose, throat, open, a doorway for breath. Each place that still feels like a raised finger, tight, insistent, place a palm of attention over it and say, on the out-breath, I see the moon. Not as a slogan, as a direction. Now the chest. We look to numbers, the day's counts and measures, the odometers of progress, as fingers promising certainty. The heart is moon-like in a quieter way. It keeps time without needing to be watched. Lay a palm there if you like, and match 3 breaths. In 4, out 6. In 4, out 6. In 4, out 6. Let the metronome be a lullaby, not a metric. Down the spine again, vertebra by vertebra. When the mind offers a diagram, plans, analyses, thank it and place it on a low wall in your mind's garden. The wall is where signposts sit at night. You're not banishing them, you're putting them where they belong. The path itself, breath, weight, contact, carries you. A story from today may float up. The words someone used, the face they made, the finger. See if you can let the feeling underneath it arise. The moon. Maybe it was the wish to be safe, to be seen, to be done. Rest with that simple wish, without attaching it to a scene. Feel how it softens when not tied to a pointing stick. If the mind asks for something to do, give it a gentle task that leads away from fingers. Name 3 sounds in the room or beyond. Feel 3 points of contact. Notice 3 breaths from start to finish. Sounds, perhaps a distant car, a whisper of fabric, the hush between. Contact, cheek to pillow, calves to mattress, air on knuckles. Breaths. Watch one wave arrive and leave, then another, then another. By the end, the world has simplified to what it always was. Moonlight on water. Allow a memory of standing under a night sky. You don't count stars to fall in love with them. You don't trace constellations to justify their beauty. You stand, and the standing is enough. Let the bed be that standing. Let lying here be the whole point. Repeat quietly on an exhale if it helps. Just this. Notice the places that want to lift a finger even now. Between the eyebrows, deciding. The jaw, arguing. The throat, explaining. The chest, proving. The belly, bracing. The hands, grabbing. With each long exhale, lower one finger. Decide nothing, argue nothing, explain nothing, prove nothing, brace nothing, grab nothing. The lesson lands where effort stops. If a bright worry arrives, treat it like a teacher's pointer tapping the board. Follow it once to the concept it is trying to teach, usually a simple care, and then let your eyes drift from chalk dust to window, from window to sky. Care remains, the pointer rests. Let your breath grow velvety. If counting fades, let it. Ride the feeling, cool in, warm out, a gentle lift, a longer, softer return, the quiet terrace after the out-breath. That terrace is a perfect place to put down every signpost. In, out, terrace. Lay it down, again. Imagine now that the teacher's finger slowly fades from view, not because it is wrong, but because it has completed its job. The moon remains, round, quiet, complete, whether looked at or not. This is the part of awareness that doesn't need commentary. You can rest there without naming it. When words try to form, let them become breath instead. Body scan once more like a lantern tracing the garden. Crown, loose. Temples, easy. Eyes, heavy. Jaw, unlatched. Throat, unobstructed. Collarbones, floating. Shoulders, lowered and warm. Upper arms, weighted kindly. Elbows, easy. Forearms, heavy. Wrists, loose. Palms, open. Fingers, unoccupied. Chest, slow tied. Back, supported. Waist, soft. Belly, quiet. Hips, anchored. Thighs, restful. Knees, spacious. Shins and calves, unwound. Ankles, free. Heels and soles, cool, still. Toes, uncurled. Anywhere a small pointing remains. Lay the lantern there, a breath longer until it forgets to signal. Try a phrase that unhooks attention from signposts. On the inhale, whole sky. On the exhale, no pointing, or simply here, in, here, out, here. If words fade, keep the felt sense wide, simple, enough. A dream may start to sketch itself at the edges. Don't read it. Let it be a moon reflected in a pond. The pond will ripple. The moon won't mind. You do not have to protect the reflection. You do not have to improve it. You're allowed to sleep while the sky does sky work. If the mind pops up with a final finger, one last thing, give it a place to set its note, a small table in your chest with a slip of paper on it. It writes 3 words. You fold them once and place them in a little bowl labeled morning. The bowl is on the table, not in your hand. The table belongs to a room that stays locked through the night, not because of fear, but because you are closed for rest. The teacher lowers his hand at last. The students who saw the moon keep looking at the moon. The students who studied the finger look up and are surprised to find it still there, and bigger than they expected. Each learns in a different order. Both will arrive. You have arrived for tonight. The pointing has done enough. The looking can become seeing, and the seeing can become being, and being can become sleep. One more gentle in-breath, no effort, just arrival. One more longer out-breath, no performance, just release. Feel the small internal latch click, the signpost dim. The shop of thinking turns its sign to closed. The sky outside and the sky inside match. In that matching, weight deepens, edges blur, time loosens, you drift. Keep drifting. Keep looking past whatever rises. Keep resting in the quiet thing that was there before the finger, during the pointing, and after the hand fell. The moon was never in a hurry, and neither is this night. Let it hold you the way light holds a landscape, softly, entirely, without instructions. And somewhere between this breath and the next, without noticing when, slip over the gentle threshold from seeing to sleeping, carried by the simplest truth in the room. You are here, and here is enough. Night has become simple around you. Walls, ceiling, the familiar weight of blankets, the reliable rise and fall of breath. Somewhere in a quiet hall, a student asks, "How do I cross the vast ocean of life?" The teacher doesn't answer with a map or a ship. He reaches into a small cloth bag and drops a single grain of rice into the student's palm. The sound is barely anything. A soft tick, a punctuation as small as a blink. "Begin with this," he says. "1 grain, 1 breath, 1 step. The ocean will teach you the rest." Let that be the temperature of this hour, not the sweep, the crossing, the thunder of distance, only the nearness of one small, manageable thing. Breathe in for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out for 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, soft in for 4, long out for 6. Each exhale is a grain set down exactly where it belongs. Open your palm in your imagination. There it is, a seed of light, the size of a comma, bright as a quiet promise. Feel how the body relaxes when a task becomes small enough to hold. The shoulders, always negotiating with the future, drop a millimeter, the precise distance between effort and faith. The jaw unhooks. The tongue loosens in the warm dark of the mouth and becomes a leaf floating. Bring that grain up to your forehead in your mind and smooth the skin from the inside, as if tracing a path for ease to follow. The crease between the brows, today's ledger, softens until it forgets it was keeping score. Eyelids grow heavier, like shutters closing on a house that already knows the morning will return. You do not need to plan the sun. Let the breath slide down the throat, cool on the in-breath, warm on the out-breath. The chest rises like a bowl being filled with clear water, then tips just enough to pour back into the room as warmth. You do not have to take big breaths. You have only to take true ones, one grain at a time. Now place the grain at your throat. This is where unsent words collect, where explanations dwell. With every long exhale, feel a tiny door swing open on silent hinges. Not everything needs to be said to be soothed. In for 4, out for 6. The body hears the sentence and finishes it with a period made of breath. Lay the grain on the right shoulder, then the left. These were timpani today, big drums keeping time for work and posture and weather. Tonight, the drummer sets down the sticks. Imagine the grain dissolving into warmth that spreads down your upper arms, into your elbows, your forearms. Turn your palms upward in your mind. Hands that held lists, devices, steering wheels, other hands, let them become bowls. Bowls hold by not grabbing. Fingers soften, uncurling like small ferns at first light. Set the grain between the ribs. The heart knows accumulation. Beats, moments, glimpses, brief closenesses. It also knows subtraction. Give it this small offering and feel how even a heart can be fed by something tiny done consistently. In for 4, out for 6. Not a feat, merely fidelity to the next breath. Travel down your spine, vertebra by vertebra, placing one grain between each bone with your attention. Imagine a soft path of pale seeds laid down a mountain trail, guiding you by a glow you can only see when you slow down. Where the back tightens, leave 2 grains. Where the back sighs, leave a smile and move on. The lower back unhooks, and with it, the old contract to hold the world all night. Tonight the bed is the ocean, you are the boat. Boats float because the water insists. Place a grain on each hip, those deep stones at the base of you. Feel the exact moment they stop trying and start trusting support. Hips know about fields, how crops rise one seed, one season at a time. Let their wisdom travel down to the thighs, into the knees. Knees unhook, calves unwind like rope neatly coiled, ankles loosen, small gates opening onto sleep, feet cool, widen and grow still. Toes uncurl like tiny boats leaving shore and finding they don't need oars. The tide is doing the work. Come back to the grain in your palm. The teacher didn't say, build a ship tonight. He didn't say, become the sea. He said, begin. So begin the simplest practice, in for 4 and out for 6. Count 3 of those cycles and then let numbers drift away if they want to, like gulls folding themselves into the dark. The body remembers the count without counting. If the mind rushes in with oceanic questions, what about tomorrow? What if? Offer it a task it can love without harm. Place 1 grain of attention on 1 sound. Hear it, let it go. Place 1 grain on 1 touch. The sheet at your ankle, the pillow at your cheek, the air at the tip of your nose. Notice, let it go. Place 1 grain on 1 breath, start to finish. The mind, soothed by a job the size of its hands, quiets. Imagine a long table in a quiet kitchen. A lamp hangs low, turning wood into honey. A bowl sits in front of you. You lift the little cloth bag of rice and tip it so that the tiniest, softest river begins. Grain after grain. Not a pour, a patter. While the bowl fills, the room becomes a friend. You don't hurry because the sound is the point. You don't measure because the need is simple. Enough for a meal. Enough for tonight is your meal. Let the practice become a meal. Each breath is a grain. 20 grains is a mouthful. 10 mouthfuls is a bowl. You don't have to count in numbers. You can count in sensations. Forehead smoothing. 1. Eyes heavy. 2. Jaw unhooked. 3. Shoulders lowered. 4. Arms warm. 5. Hands empty. 6. Chest easy. 7. Back supported. 8. Belly soft. 9. Hips anchored. 10. There. One bowl of noticing. Set it in front of sleep. If a sharp memory juts up like a rock in shallow water, place a grain on it, just one, and watch the scale of it change. Grains are humble and stubborn. They turn boulders into slopes across years. They turn tonight's edges into rounded shapes across minutes. You are laying down kindness, rounded, repeated. Think of terraces carved into mountainsides in a country you have loved or only seen in books, step after step of small fields, each no larger than a room, yet together they host a river of green. That is the truth of rest. You do not make a valley sleep. You make one small platform level, then the next, then the next. Your forehead terrace, your throat terrace, your chest, your belly, your hips, your legs. The mountain is your body accepting step-by-step softness until the whole slope rests. Let a sentence accompany you, no bigger than a grain. On the inhale, just this. On the exhale, just this. Or one breath, one breath. If words fade, they did their job. The feeling underneath, enoughness, remains. The student turns the grain over in his palm and finally understands. He isn't asked to shrink the ocean. He's invited to right-size his step. He puts the grain on his tongue and tastes sweetness so subtle he would have missed it if he'd been chewing on the whole future. He smiles because the taste is now, and the now is what carries. Bring the grain to the small cave under your ribs where worry crouches. On the inhale, place the grain there. On the exhale, watch it become a lantern the size of a firefly. Not bright enough to interrogate, bright enough to orient. That is all you need at night. Not answers, orientation. Return to the image of the kitchen. The bowl is nearly full. You run your palm across the surface and feel the texture change from scattered to continuous. That is what your breath has been doing, turning scattered moments into a smooth surface you can sleep on. If your mind wants reassurance, slide the bowl under the faucet of your attention and let a thin stream of water run over the grains. Watch how quickly the dust lifts and the water runs clear. Breath is water. Thoughts are dust. Time is a sieve that needs no shaking from you. Scan again, slower, more generous now, as if you were blessing field after field. Forehead, smooth. Eyes, heavy. Cheeks, soft. Mouth, easy. Tongue, broad and quiet. Throat, open like a small gate. Collarbones, floating. Shoulders, low and warm. Upper arms, weighted kindly. Elbows, unlatched. Forearms, heavy. Palms, open bowls. Chest, rising and settling. Back, supported in every curve. Belly, tied at slack. Hips, anchored stones. Thighs, lengthened. Knees, spacious. Calves, unwound. Ankles, free. Feet, cool and still. Toes, uncurled. Where a knot remains, don't pull. Place one grain of breath on it, then another, and let time do what fingers cannot. If a last gust of thought comes in like a crowd at the dock, noisy, asking for tickets, remember the teacher's palm and the sound of a single grain. Tap the railing of your mind with that sound. One grain, one breath. Watch how crowds lose interest when there isn't a performance. The dock empties. The air returns to being air. Picture the ocean now, not as a task, but as a presence. Black silk under moon. Slow shoulders lifting and lowering. On the beach, a line of small lamps marks a safe path to the water. Each lamp is a breath you've already taken. You don't need a floodlight. You need the next lamp and the trust that the line keeps going. In for 4, out for 6. You could stop counting any time. The lamps are spaced by feeling, not numbers. The student asks, What about the whole of my life? The teacher gestures toward a loom. One thread, he says, then one more. He gestures toward a book. One line, then another. He gestures toward the door. One step, then rest. You are at the rest part now. There will be steps in the morning. All the threads will still be there, patient as they always were. If your chest seeks a lullaby, give it a small one. The bowl is full enough. The field is planted enough. The tide is high enough. The night is long enough. Repeat it on the out-breath. Enough. Feel how the word lengthens the exhale on its own. Feel how the shoulders listen to that word more than to any argument. Let the end of each exhale widen into a small, flat place, like a rice paddy at dusk, water unruffled, sky held perfectly. Stand there in your mind with bare feet, toes cool, ankle deep in mirror. Clouds drift in the water and in the sky in the same shapes. You cannot tell which is which, and you do not need to. The body, seeing this agreement between above and below, sets down the last small weight it was cradling. A dream may begin to stitch itself at the edges, something with fields or a meal or a boat. Do not read it. Let it be the kitchen in the next room, making quiet sounds. The smell will reach you when it's ready. You do not need to get up. If a part of you insists on worrying that the grain is too small, let it hold a second grain, then a third. Then laugh with it when it realizes that small is the only size that belongs to this hour. The ocean loves small. Waves are the ocean doing small over and over until cliffs change their minds. One more slow in-breath, honest and unperformed. One more longer out-breath, like pouring the last of the water from the kettle and hearing the note go low. Listen for the tiny internal click, the sound of the shop of thinking turning its sign to closed, the bowl set in a safe place, the lamp dimmed by an inch. The room does not darken, it deepens. Now let even the image of the grain become a grain and set it down. Let even the practice of breathing become breath and let it move without your help. Let even the idea of sleep become sleep by stopping the idea and letting the thing remain. The student somewhere far away in time curls on his mat with the grain still in his palm. It warms to his skin and disappears back into where seeds go when they're not needed. He will find another in the morning. So will you. For now, the ocean crosses you. The tide lifts you a finger's width. The boat doesn't steer, it is steered. You are at the right scale for the night. The size of a breath, the size of a warm hand, the size of a grain of rice. The vastness takes care of itself. The smallness takes care of you. And between the two, with nothing forced and nothing missing, you drift, steadily, gently, into rest.